Right, it's 9 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. I'll start with our short land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the people and ancestors whose lands we now share. Move to 2.0, the adoption of the agenda. There's a couple of additions on there, some additions in the info package as well. Anybody have any further additions or comments? If not, I'll get a motion to adopt the agenda with additions. Okay, Councillor Declan, all in favor? Carried. Linda, I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so I'm just gonna call you in favor unless you want to say otherwise. Item 3.0, adoption of our minutes from June the 10th. We're there for your review. Any discussion arising, any corrections? If not, I'll get a motion to accept the minutes.
All of the minutes.
Okay, Councillor Lisinski, all in favor? That's carried. Item 4.0, delegations. We have 3 today. The first one scheduled for 9:02, so we're right on time, is Northern Action Alliance. So, Pat, I think that was your request.
Yes.
You can come forward. Good morning, Pat. I'm not sure if you're familiar with all the council, so we'll just quickly introduce ourselves. I'll start at my far end.
Hi, Keelan Shug, I represent Warrensville, Lacquer Mill, Ward 2.
Gary Days, Waverly.
Brandy Usinski, Ward 3, Dixon Ocean Valley.
Gloria Declan, North Star Breaking Point, Ward 5.
Gary Ungarian, Ward 6, Hotchkiss, Hot Hills.
Good morning, I've got a speaking, I'm the CIO.
Yep, let's keep going here.
Greg Reeve.
And thanks for help. This Cape River is not able to join us in person, but I think you're there, Linda.
Chance she might be frozen right now, but she is
Okay,
technically.
so anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Linda-
here.
Okay. All right, so I just
Hey, we're
wanted to
regarding
introduce us. Did you let you do your presentation?
I'm Pat Coulter. I've lived here for almost 34 years. I farm a few miles from the county council building.
Excuse me, Pat, can I ask you to just speak up a bit, otherwise for the recording, you won't be able to hear you.
Okay. That's a lovely stand.
No.
Do you want to go over all that again?
You're welcome.
Okay, Pat Coulter. I farm a couple of miles from the county council building. I've been here for about 34 years. I'm here to talk to the council today about seeking a referendum on the nuclear, proposed nuclear facility. We were inundated with this type of proposal 15 years ago. At that time, the proposal was for a CANDU ARC 1000 reactor. It was the same players. SNC-Lavalin Atkins Realis was in the background because they owned the rights to develop these particular reactors, and Energy Alberta. Now, I don't know if you have researched SNC-Lavalin. I don't know if you've researched Energy Alberta. Scott Handesett is a self-proclaimed NEPO baby. He said that he has never really had to work particularly hard. What he actually has been doing is producing television programs in Calgary for the Calgary region, and he also rents event tents. Is that a good CV for somebody who's wanting to run a nuclear plant? I know he's got at least 10 years to bring himself up to speed on it. However, I think we need to consider the people who are pushing this on us and what they've actually done. Now, the ARC 1000 reactor is still, has not been built. Now, they're now proposing a Monarch reactor, which is still in the initial phases. It's in the phase of, let me see the actual name of the phase. Is conceptual design phase. So basically, the conceptual design phase is the process where the broad outlines of function and form are explored. And this was completed in January of 2025. So when they came up and started proposing this to some of our municipal leaders, the impression was that this was a shovel-ready project. Did anybody ask the community if they were willing? No. The town of Peace River declared that they were a willing community, but the town of Peace River is not in the county of Northern Lights. The people with skin in the game are the people who live in Weberville. Their lives have been turned upside down. The stress levels that these people are experiencing are incredible. People are not sleeping. It's tearing the community apart, just like it did last time. It's like me coming to you, Terry, and saying, I want to build a unicorn farm right next door to you. But I'm not going to tell you that we don't have any breeding stock. We don't really know what we're doing. We aren't going to tell you that unicorn poop doesn't decompose for 500,000 years. These are all things that have not been explored by our community. Our community has a right to know what you're trying to push on us. And I was reading the county bylaws for, what's it called? The bylaws for code of conduct for members of council. Transparency is mentioned in there a number of times. We have not had transparency. We feel like we've been blindsided. Energy Alberta and SNC-Lavalin came up and proposed this. And then a regional energy committee set up their terms of reference on July 10th, 2024. They're saying that they're telling, the regional committee is telling these proponents that there is indeed a willing community, but nobody's asked anybody. Nobody's taken a vote. I'm very passionate about this. I don't believe that nuclear is the answer. If you're looking at carbon, a low carbon facility production, yeah, that's what's going to happen. It is low carbon, but there's so much more involved. You've got to mine the uranium, you've got to build the reactors. They're not going to be built here. We don't have the expertise.
Uranium's already being.
I know, unfortunately, but it's still got to be continued. It's still being mined.
Yeah.
And it's still a toxic
And
substance.
it will.
It will.
Right.
And I realize that you think that you're going to make a lot of money for the council. And granted, our provincial government has pulled a lot of your funding. And that's a huge concern, not just for you, but for the community as well. And perhaps we need to go after our provincial government for funding and our federal government. The nuclear industry has long been a friend of the federal government's. Harper And Harper sold the rights to the CANDO technology to SNC Lavalin for a pittance. And then they gave me the opportunity to claim 75 million a year to continue with their research. The research hasn't gone anywhere since then. We don't have a reactor. Nuclear is dangerous. The long-term effects are so far in the future that we can't even conceive of that. So when we say, well, we're going to have this kind of a project, we're speaking for people who aren't even here yet. We don't know how we're going to solve the waste problem. We haven't even got a repository in this country. There is a community in Ontario that voted, I think it was about 51%. It was just over. There's no guarantees that's going to go through. The only repository in the world is in the Netherlands, and it's not completed yet either. I hope that the council members will do some really deep research into this. It's going to be difficult to find. A lot of that information has been scrubbed from the internet. Gordon Edwards, who came up here previous. What's Gordon Edwards' organization? Never named it.
Canadian Nuclear Commission. He's got the largest database of all nuclear information anywhere in Canada right now.
Thank you. The internet's interesting. I was trying to find this morning some background information on Energy Alberta, SNC Lavalin, nuclear projects in the past. It's a challenge. You have to do a deep dive. I spent a lot of time reading that. I found out about the initial impact assessment studies, reading an article in the Calgary Herald. So we can't just not inform ourselves. And we're asking for, our group is asking for a referendum on this question so that our community can make that decision for themselves. No individual or no small group has the right to make a decision that's going to affect people 250,000 years in the future.
Okay, thanks.
I do have a question that we would be, we are asking for a binding referendum. The question we have come up with is, are you in favor of the nuclear project being proposed by Energy Alberta and Atkins Realis for the County of Northern Lights? And we request that that question be put on the municipal ballot. Now, if you decide you don't want to put it on the municipal ballot, then a whole other vote will have to take place. A whole other, if you decide you won't put it on that ballot, then a whole other vote has to take place. The proponent has to pay for that, but it's going to make it difficult for people. If it's on the ballot, people will be coming to vote anyways. The council has the same amount of time to get their information out to the public as we do. And
So I have a question for you.
fire away.
This nuclear power plant isn't only gonna affect the county. Yes, it's being built in the county, that's the proposal, but there's also a site across the river. Are you gonna go around to all the other municipalities and ask the same thing?
It's up to each municipality to do that, but we have contacts within the other municipalities. I would suspect if we are asked to go, we will. Our speaker for the June 23rd and 26th open houses that you're holding is from Slave Lake. you know, if it's kind of like the monorail thing. You know, the monorail scenario from the Simpsons. Are you aware of that? Yeah, okay. All the communities came together and the proponent of the monorail was so excited and he got everybody fired up because he was feeding them information that it was like unicorns. It was rainbows and unicorn farts. And we have to be realistic. We have to research because any decision that's made affects people that, like I said, aren't even born yet. And it affects us too. It affects the mental health of people. And one of the jobs of the council is to ensure the welfare of the community, not just as far as money goes. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of money, but we're in the world of AI. What's going to happen with the jobs? It's a dangerous job. Are people actually going to be hired? It's hard to say. Any other questions?
Well, no, I mean, you raise a lot of questions that we need, control over, I mean, jobs. Those are all questions that we address, but then eventually this council is not a nuclear council, we don't build them, but anyway, we've heard your request for a referendum and we'll discuss it at the end of our meeting unless there's any other questions from council. Linda, I don't know if you're able to hear us. You got any questions?
No, I'm fine, Terry.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, you're asking for a referendum on the nuclear issue coincide with the election, municipal election.
Actions.
Okay.
Oh, I heard that, was very clear,
Yeah.
which I mean, anything like that would only make sense to do it once, right? Not have,
Exactly.
does take a lot of effort and resources and finances to hold these kind of things, so. But anyway, we'll discuss this at the end of our meeting like we do with all delegations and we'll get back to you.
So there's no opportunity to
Absolutely.
I just want to make one comment on your code of conduct comment.
Mhm.
So with Bill 50, that's been ratified. I don't know what's the word for that, but I mean, there is no code of conduct anymore. So the province took away all code of conduct and taken it upon themselves to do. So just the FYI. So
Oh,
that bylaw has actually been removed. It's non-existent.
it's still on your website.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I used. But thank you for noting that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Like I say, we'll discuss this later and we'll definitely get back to you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the next delegation is not until.
I was to carry on the safest.
I don't wonder how long I was gonna take it up.
Well, I'm so glad I'm the one that did it.
Was that one?
Look, the tip one ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Put some duct paper on there. All right, if you could take your conversations over in the foyer, please. We're going to carry on. We'll move down to 6.1.1. Government services, item A is a piece of monitoring, area monitoring program membership. So we discussed this previously. They did a presentation and I guess this is our chance to join up.
If I may, so it's going up and there's also the opportunities to have a representative, I think they call it the director of some sort. Yeah. If anybody on council wants to sit on that, so there's the opportunity when we do the application for.
So, and if I remember, there's no financial cost of this, right? And since they're putting monitors in our region now, I think it would only make sense that we become members so we can stay in the loop. And so, I mean, I think we'll make a motion, what I see, we can vote on it, but I think there's consensus that we would join. Then we'd also, kind of in the draft motion there, appoint somebody as a representative. I don't know that, I don't remember, I didn't read through the terms of reference, like how often do they meet, or how much
I
time?
think it's quarterly.
Quarterly.
Yeah,
I think that's what they do. Yeah.
so not a real big commitment, I guess, but.
It's not.
Still there.
Terry, you guys are, sorry, you guys are kind of muffled, so I'm having a hard time hearing.
Can anybody make that out? Try that again, Linda.
He said it is kind of muffled when I'm trying to hear you guys.
It's muffled. I'll turn mine on.
This one on this side here.
Go on back.
Still gonna get a lot.
So would anybody be willing to sit on this? I'm assuming they would meet in the Peace River area,
I
right,
guess the Grandchild Council chambers usually, but
in Crenshaw?
yeah. I would be interested.
I would.
Yeah, well,
Does Brent, Linda want it?
It'd probably make more sense for
Yes.
someone in your end of the county. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Okay, I'm fine. That's why I live in the north. I guess it can be on anything.
you can be an alternate if you want.
Yeah, that'll be
Okay.
fine. Should be Brenda, though she's closer than I am, or Gary.
Okay, so we'll have Kaylin as our representative and
Yeah.
Brenda as an alternate.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay. You're making that motion?
Yes,
Okay, Councillor Alvinski moves to acknowledge receipt of the membership report, have administration complete the application and appoint Councillor Shug as our representative and Councillor Sinski as an alternate.
You make the motion?
Linda. All in favor? That's carried. Item B, Canadian Motorcycle Tourism Association. So they were a little disappointed in us. So I don't know, I guess we can respond to that. We don't want to get into a email battle with them, but we can just maybe. So it's not that we're showing any disrespect to these veterans. I mean, my father was a veteran, but it's just a matter of logistics of I don't know what they're really wanting from us is they.
Maybe a question I had for council then also is, I mean, if we dealt with these motions before, do you guys want me to bring it back or should I just?
I think this-
Administratively,
Like the previous motion?
No, I think this was worthy of bringing back because it
Okay.
kind of scolded council almost, right? So I think we should be.
Oh,
but-
Yeah,
Well,
we got scolded, yeah.
well, I guess we're not respecting our history because we cannot possibly give to everything we're asked, you know.
We are music. We support our leaders for you. But we just aren't sure.
It's not there in person.
Yeah. So let's just have administration respond to that. Stating that, right, that there's absolutely no disrespect and, but we don't have to put that in motion, just to have administration respond, and it can come from council, actually. Any other thoughts?
No,
I'll make that motion. Bill gets it done there.
sorry.
No worries, we got all day.
No, don't say that.
Shush over there.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Item C. More, guitar camp donation. So I don't know that they've gone to the rec board, is the rec board got any money left for this year?
We do not have the report from the rec board, but from what I am led to believe, there is no money left. These guys have never went to the rec board, they have approached us. You guys directly, always.
So. Have come to us before, and I think we. Don't see it in here, but I know we did donate to them before, that kind of told them that the rec board would probably be the first line. So whether they did and found out there's no money, so they just come back to council again. So I'm sure we discussed this before, but it is a big event in the area. It brings people from near and far, and probably worthy of support. I just don't know to what level. We don't have the previous amount we donated.
I can't remember
I
how.
thought it was like $5,000 we gave them once a couple of years ago.
They've asked for different things too, though. Like, I think, I didn't receive the request, but it looks like they're looking for sponsorship items or auction items or giveaway things.
Right, so-
So
So maybe. Yeah.
we
so
just don't have
have-
enough of anything on hand.
No, but I mean, that could be
Yeah.
rectified, right? I mean, maybe rather than giving a cash donation, go buy some water bottles or whatever. Whatever you guys think would be appropriate for a bunch of. Well, I guess there's every age there, right? There's right from. Years old to 60 years old and everything in between, so,
Be easier to do a cash donation than.
Yeah,
Or one prize, I think.
yeah, they kind of look for
Exactly.
one prize, I was kind of thinking like $250 or something. You know what I
Or for
thought?
draws for camper prizes, that would probably be easier. And get something put together fairly creative and.
180 or something,
Yep.
so I was kind of thinking like $250, that's a pretty healthy prize basket or whatever, if that's what they're looking for. I would be okay to make that motion.
yeah. That might even be a little bit on the light side, but yeah, that's thinking by something pretty decent to that.
Or, well, I mean, whatever, whoever generally makes our prize baskets, like, is that fair? I don't know. I don't generally put them together.
No,
I don't see Trinity was online.
in line,
I would say we could work with $250.
So
easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's the motion.
Cause I can bump it up, speak now for everybody. Okay. Then 250 it is,
For
to make a,
a prize, like, it doesn't necessarily be a basket, it could be a.
Draw prize, I think.
a draw prize, is kind of what it sounded like to me, yeah.
Probably just council that's a semester better than.
Oh,
I'm fine with it.
Just carried on from what she had in the packet.
Okay, all in favor? It's carried. Lee's invitation to Team Out Red Crops Farm Tour. This is a new one, I think. We've never had an invitation to that before, but
The first time
Yeah,
you're having it too.
first.
well, this is the first. Yeah, I mean, that would be something for an fair to vote on what we would.
I've attended through Alberta Beef. They had a booth there and we were part of this, like it's coincides with the Stampede. And we were right at the Stampede at the time and you got to talk to a whole lot of people, like from all over the world, like it was very interesting, right? Now that to go down there just for that 2 hours, I don't think that's really, but it was a really neat thing, and they, like I know when we went down, we were tied in with, we met the government. All the, you know, we had breakfast and stuff like that with the, all the agriculture minister and all that, so it was, it gets to be quite a, good, you know, like you meet a lot of people at that, cause there's a lot of people come to it, right? But I just don't know for a couple hours whether
It's
that's,
worth the 2 hours of networking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think certainly the people that are closer, all around, you know, from Red Deer down to Lethbridge, those
Yeah.
people would be supporting it and makes sense, and then Alberta Beef will probably have a booth there again too, right?
oh yeah,
Are you going again, or,
no, I'm out of it now.
or you're not a delegate anymore?
Let's get it.
Who's our delegate now?
Gary Smith,
Why not?
from
From Fresno?
there are a couple guys from, or one guy from the Creek, and then there's a girl from High Prairie is joining us,
Yeah, so,
and then there's one from Fairviews.
So I'll make that motion
okay,
that we, thank them for the invitation, but, respectfully decline because of expense and travel considerations.
I don't know if we can have to respond to them. We could, as courtesy.
I think a response is good.
Yeah, let's thank them for the invitation.
Sorry, I'm thinking. Sorry, guys.
No, no worries. The invitation and we regretfully decline. Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Item E is letter of support for the Dixonville Charter School.
I can speak to this
Sure.
one requested, for the Dixonville Charter School Society, is applying for, charter school status, with the province, so, in sending in our application, the more support letters we get from the community members, the better, so, we would just like to request a letter of support from the council. And it's just, acknowledging the charter school and being in favor.
Yeah. Don't know why we wouldn't, how they come along.
Really good. I think they have around 42 letters of intent, like 42 students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are applying for K-12. And so I think there's 6 high school students. Not really 10. So,
That's like they only have, in the school division, they only have less than 30 that are.
yes, yeah, they were down to like 28.
They didn't come forward before, but then of course there was no high school, right?
Right, yeah, it just opens up more options.
Right.
And then it just, like on my own behalf, you know, a lot of us sitting there waiting on the fence to see, because some of the parents want confirmation that it's gonna be up and rolling for the fall, right? So a lot of us sitting on the fence, so.
So that number might even increase. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think
I got-
there's a lot of
yeah.
parents like that.
That's
just
just kind of
wanna
on
make
our
sure
shoulders,
it's so. And then what totally be.
So, yeah, I don't know what we would put in there other than we support, you know, and recognize that it would be vital in keeping the hamlet. Vibrant, right? Yeah, but we have some creative letter writers will get the message out. Okay, who wants to make that motion?
Sure.
Would like to.
Any questions, Linda?
No, I just wondered if, what about busing? Because that was one of their main issues. Brenda, can you speak on that?
Yeah, they plan to have, 3 schools. The province provides startup, funding to set up the school and get it operational. So currently there's 2 in Dixonville and they plan to keep that. And then 1 to go south of. Like the Grand Valley.
Thank you. I'd like to make the motion to.
Oh, I
You
already.
did already? Okay. Can't hear, say it, okay.
No further questions, call for the vote, all in favor? Carried. Josh, is there the delegation?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I just texted Gerhard. So you have the Lorena Butcher is online.
Okay, we'll switch to the Zoom screen. You know, if it's caught up.
You guys are muted, Lorena. Yeah.
See them.
Of course, my mouse doesn't work when I want it to work, right? Never fails.
Okay, good morning. So we're on,
You guys can hear me okay?
item B, yeah, we can, yeah. So, you're here with the Peace Regional Outreach Society. So let me start by introducing council. Hopefully our Zoom camera can keep up. We'll start on my far right with Councillor Reeve. And then we'll turn it over to you ladies.
Good morning, Brent Reese, Deadwood Sunny Valley.
The hell, whiskey.
And if you caught that, Linda Halavisky from King River.
And I'm Garrett speaking, I'm the CAO, morning.
Good morning, Terry Ungarian, Hotchkiss, Hawk Hills.
Gloria Decken, North Star Breaking Point.
Brenda Usinski, Dixonville, Chinook Valley.
Gary Tays, Weberville.
And Kaylin Shug, I represent Warrensville, Blackbird now.
Okay, so if you ladies wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves and then you can have your presentation.
Okay, I'm Lorena Coombs. I am the social worker, youth support worker that this project basically funds.
Hi, I'm Debbie Bezzoe. I'm on the society board. Yes, I'm a vice chair.
Oh, no.
Okay, you froze there for a minute, Louise, but we know who you are, so you go ahead with your presentation and hopefully the internet holds up for us.
Yeah, we have a PDF copy. Do you want me to put that up or do you guys want to share your screen and go through?
I could try to share my screen. I do have it set up, so let's try to share my screen. If that doesn't work, then we can try your way. Just give me 1 sec.
We also have it in our agenda package.
Yes, it is. Is that working for you?
We've got the presenter view up in front of us.
Okay. Ah, that works. I think I'm supposed to make that big. Ah, technology. But you can see the presenter view, right?
Yeah, kind of. What I'll do, maybe I'll just show you. I can take it away from you and we've got it on PDF, so it's a little bit bigger.
Good idea.
And then council has it in front of themselves as well, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, because I think we emailed you a copy, so you should have one.
the audio quality might be a little bit better.
There we go, perfect.
Well,
So,
just shut your video off and just, it might help keep the connection a little stronger.
I could do that. Yeah, is that better?
Well, it's been okay so far, but yeah, that's fine. We can still hear you, so.
Okay, that's good, as long as you can hear me. Yeah, I don't know, we're getting we can barely hear you as well, so. Anyways, so I'm not gonna read this to you. I'm assuming that most of you have read it, or you can read as we go along. And I could just tell you to skip slide. So overview, what we're doing here is we're working with a lot of high-risk youth, a lot of Mennonite youth, a lot of students that just do not fit into a regular mainstream school. So our goal in the support program is just make sure that their needs are met so that they can succeed in education. Because a lot of our students come here with numerous challenges, and so addressing those challenges is vital before they can actually focus on schoolwork. So whether that be assisting with food, sometimes just counseling and setting them up with some mental health supports, or living supports, parental turmoil, right? So it's really broad in what I'm doing with the students. And then the other component is life skills. I teach life skills every Thursday, and that gives the students a variety of just skills that they need to be successful adults. So you can go forward. We just wanted to give a little history. So this is where we came from, our first portable at Peace High, and this is where we are now. Okay, you can switch. Okay, kind of past that. A lot of our students this year, I think the biggest noticeable thing since COVID has been the number of students with very high anxiety that are having a really hard time even coming to a center like this. We do provide space that is very secure for them, and it's in a quiet space, which has helped, but that definitely is a struggle for us. So okay, go to the next one. It's really weird. Go to okay, you can go to the next one. I think I probably covered that a little bit. There's some of our students. I don't know if you recognize Susie. Susie is actually the recipient of your county's, she got a scholarship for nursing. She's attending Northwest Polytech in the fall. Okay. So again, one thing a lot of people kind of misunderstand is the fact that the society runs very separately from the high school. The Peace River School Division funds the teachers, the program staff, and anything to do with education, where the society comes in as a partnership to provide the additional support. So a youth support counselor, myself, we also have transportation for students that live in town that, you know, don't want to take or find it really difficult to take the yellow school buses. And then as well as our life skills program. Okay, you can go next. Some of our students. Okay, so here's a just chart of the last few years. As you can see, our numbers are fairly consistent. We have really declined in our number of parents. That is why our daycare ended up closing, because we don't even have the need. We have 4 registered parents right now. Most of those children are either in school or the parents have secured daycare for them. We have 20 graduating again this year, which is great. We're really proud, and it's getting difficult finding facility for so many students and their families, but we're doing pretty good. Okay, next. I just put a lot of pictures in here just because pictures are fun. Okay, keep going, yeah. So just overview of kind of like what I do. I don't do therapy. Basically, I do a lot of solution focused short-term counseling. And we do have 2 mental health therapists that rotate and come to our facility. So we have a walk-in youth program for mental health supports in our building, which has been a great collaboration with mental health services. Our students don't have to go anywhere. They can just come here and meet with the therapist, which has been excellent. So other than that, I do a lot of work with advocating for students, linking them up to services in the community, just, providing ongoing supports, whatever kind of as arises. Okay, next, please. Kind of the same thing I did with life skills. There's another life skills thing. So keep going down, yeah. So what I do is when I meet with students, I assess their needs based on risk factors. So risk factors would be things like mental health, LGBTQ. It's not that it's a risk factor, but it puts more stress on the students. FMNI students, whether they've had any connection with child and family services. And so what I do is kind of number them from mild to moderate to high. So if you go to the next slide, this is where we're at this year. So, which is one thing, I don't know if you'd noticed from previous years, but our number of high needs students are decreasing, which is a good thing. We have a higher number of, I think it's also related to a higher number of Mennonite students. So they're coming from 2-income families. Not that they don't have issues, they do, but they just seem to be more able to maintain their self, and they have a lot of family support, which is nice. So our risk factors are lowering, but again, every year it's different. Next year we could have a lot higher. I think usually we run at about 15 to 18% of high risk students. So life skills, like I mentioned, every Thursday we offer life skills, and part of that is we provide pizza as a drawing card. We have covered everything from communication, relationships, addiction. We even did a car care one. So it's fun. We had a lot of students that are attending. On an average, we probably get about 20 students that come and attend our life skills every week. So they really enjoy it. They think it's helpful. Most of them, the topics are related and of interest to them. And we bring in people from the community so that those relationships are already built, so that if they need services in the community, they have that knowledge of who those people are, which I think is the best benefit of life skills. Yeah, you can go ahead. This one, I gotta turn to my page because so annual budget. Well, thank you. Anyway, we are decreasing in the budget. It's getting more difficult every year to find funding. We have a lot of competition. A lot of societies are narrowing, especially the government, they're narrowing the application criterias. So sometimes we don't fit into those criterias, and it takes a long time to put in an application just to get rejected. So right now we're running off of a lot of community support and local support. And so that's why it's really detrimental to our program that the counties support us, and we are very grateful for that. Right now we're running at a 0.6. I'm a 0.6, but in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll be retired. So our budget for the next year is kind of estimating based on who they hire to replace me and what their level of education and where they fit on the pay scale. But for the most part, I think this is pretty accurate. The position will be probably between a 0.6 and a 0.8 next year. And I think you can see where we break up. So the majority of funds, of course, go to the youth support person. I'm also the bus driver, so kind of double duty in my job. Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead. So just threw in some other stuff that we're doing. We do hot lunches every Wednesday. We get students to actually cook for the rest of the student body. Fun Fridays, we do once a month. We have the library come in and they help just kind of do some fun programming. You can see they did some art and things just to give the students some time to build some relationships. Our Indigenous worker, we have done some smudging. Some of our students went to the hand games, the sweat lodge. So that's been kind of nice. Our offsite programs, we do a physical education. So we do take our students to the swimming pool and to the rec center once a month. We've really had a great partnership with the Art Hub this year. A lot of our students are very artistic, so that's worked out really well. Work experience wrap program and fashion studies. And of course, green certificate. We had 2 students complete green certificate this year. And as you can see, we had a lot of art. So when we did the art program, we did 8 weeks going twice a week. So our students were really involved and really enjoyed it. Some sewing. Yeah, you can just keep. We did do 2 campus tours this year. We toured the power engineering plant. They had an open house. So we took about, I think, 8 students to the power engineering. One student, this young lady, is actually looking at pursuing that as a career. So that was really nice. And then we did Northwest Polytech student for the day a few weeks ago. We also did the Northwestern Polytech Fairview campus trades camp, and we took 8 students to that as well. So again, more pictures. Just some things that students have said. We usually get students on their graduation year to kind of write a little bit about their experience. So, this is kind of one of we do 2 surveys as well. One about, the life skills and what they enjoy about life skills and rating the life skills program, and then also about the school. So there's our graduates from 2024. So we are having 20 this year, so it should look very similar to the picture. And again, these are the people that are celebrating. We celebrate, thank them for their contributions. Without it, our program wouldn't be able to run. So we are very grateful. And I know we do have an application in for a continued support. And I guess we just really hope that you'll be able to fund us and continue. It's vital to our program. And, it's a very successful program. It's very successful. We are known throughout the province as being kind of a very unique outreach, and we hope to maintain that. So is there any questions?
Well, thank you for the presentation. I'll turn it over to council for questions. I think a very valuable service you guys are providing. My question, I probably asked this last time they came for funding, is what's our provincial government's take on this about helping support, financially?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think the government realizes how much outreaches provide for those students that are struggling in mainstream school. So the funding model is really poor. We've written letters and, just try to get them, because they just do block funding for outreaches. So I can't remember what the amount is this year, but it's not enough to run our program as a school by itself. So that's a lot of reason why we've really integrated the we put all of the outreach and home learning and everything into alternative education, so that we can use teachers to the best, so we can do options for our students. But yeah, there is definitely a lack of funding in the government for outreaches. They do not
Yeah, they've cut mental health funding.
Yeah, they've cut some mental health funding, yeah, for the rest of the schools.
Yeah.
As I said, it's getting really difficult to find funding, which is really unfortunate because these youth really need some supports.
Yeah, especially being at the 30-year reunion.
Yeah.
To see all the students that have, that were there, that how it's helped them with their
And that-
life.
Successfully,
Yes.
gone on to become members of the community, gone on to further education after the supportive outreach, to give them a start, yeah.
Yeah, I just see on your slide 19 there, your annual budget, I didn't see a line at all there for any provincial government funding.
There isn't.
The provincial government doesn't fund, because we're approaching this as the youth support. So that is the councillor.
Yeah.
The government
don't.
funds only the education port. Right, so
They don't give any-
they supply the money for the teachers, school, which is very limited, but they do not give additional funding for counselors.
No.
They've actually, we had project peace workers through the school division in other schools, and they've got cut funding this year as well
Yeah.
by significant loss. So that's why we have this society, is so that we don't have to, we can provide these supports as an outside entity to the education and a partnership. So.
Do you have another question?
So I see there's a substantial number of Indigenous students. Have you guys partnered with the First Nations to get some federal funding for this?
We have not.
There was talk about that one time, but it I don't know if it didn't come through or whatever.
Yeah, we have applied on some in the past, and when we do apply for grant funding for my position, a lot of times we will look at, we do let them know that how many Indigenous students we have, but we have not, no. I don't know on a federal level whether we would actually get funding because we're such a small school.
In my previous role in the MD of Opportunity, I know that there was definitely always some funding available federally for these type of things. I would really recommend you guys reach out to them, but go via a First Nations band to make it more official, and you will definitely get funding for that. They have lots of funding for these things.
If you get a chance, if you could email me or to, give me some of those resources, that would be wonderful. I would definitely be grateful, and we could look out and reach to them, definitely.
We put you in touch with the people from Big Stone Cree Nation in the MD of Opportunity. They'll be able to help you guys with that.
Okay. That'd be wonderful, thank you.
Okay, well, great presentation. I know we rushed through a lot of your slides, but we all have a copy of it, so we've looked at it. If there's no further questions from council, we'll discuss this at the end of our meeting and see what we can do. Budgets are always tight, but I know we've supported this before, so hopefully we can continue on. But like I said, it'll be a council decision at the end of the meeting. And so if you have any final closing remarks, otherwise, well, thank you for your time.
Wonderful, yes, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
We do rely, we're very grateful that the
Yes.
counties support us.
Yes.
We do have a number of students that reside in your county. I think right now we have 13 that are attending. And 2 of those are that we've just recognized on our awards as honor students, and both are going to university in September. So, they are really academic students, and I think they're very grateful that they can attend here as well. They seem to learn in this environment a lot more than they were in a public school, and they would definitely attest to that. So, yes, thank you so much. We hope you'll consider our application, and so we can keep things going.
Yeah, we'll get back to you. We'll see you.
Sounds good.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. I see our next delegation is Are you alone, Misty, or something else coming, or
No, I'm going.
you're alone? You've got heavy lifting?
I did.
Well, give us a little break and then we'll. Okay, we'll reconvene and we'll move back to delegations. We have our third delegation before us now, item C, like Cardinal Economic Development Board. So, welcome, and we'll just introduce ourselves. You probably don't know everybody here, so I'll start on the far end of my council table.
Morning, Brent Reese, Sunnyvale.
Linda, are you with us? So Linda Helleviski has joined us virtually, but not the best service, so she represents Kid River Carcajou.
Okay.
Yeah, please keep recorded.
I'm gonna stick on this here. Good one.
Terry Ungarian, I represent Hotchkiss Hot Hills.
Renee Gloria Decken, I represent North Star Ricky Point. Brandon Jasinski, gives the Ocean of Valley.
Gary Days, Weberville.
Caitlin, I represent Warrensville, Lockburn.
And we have a couple of administrative people here too,
Josh Hunter, Director of Finance.
Charles Schwab, Director of Public Works.
and Josh kind of looks after some of our economic development stuff, so
Okay.
he will be a part, and so you can introduce yourselves and give your presentation.
Spiel.
And sort of just, I'll interrupt, I mean, I had a conversation with Reeve, MD of Peace, Robert Willing, talking about Black Cardinal economic development and the benefits that our county probably have. I mean, a lot of our population lives in the south end of the municipality. So yeah, I'll let you go through that.
So thank you for having me. My name is Misty Vlichka. I am the EDO for Lac Cardinal. Like Terry said, we have also had a few conversations about how building a prosperous future through regional collaboration is the way we need to go. So I'll just tell you a little bit about our board. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, I can try and answer them best I can. I was supposed to come with a couple of our board members today, but everyone kind of got busy, so I'm here on my own. So our board, it consists of one representative from each municipality, and we have a member at large from each, and then myself. We meet monthly, except for the months of July and August. Over the past few years, we've undertaken numerous initiatives. Our goal is supporting regional growth, sustainability. Our current priorities right now are advancing housing diversity. We're part of the Enabling Housing Choice North project. We have our first open house this Thursday. So we're trying to get a jump on things. We need to know what kind of housing we need, what options we haven't even thought of, and where we need to go with that. So we're trying to get a jump on things in case something huge happens in the near future that we need to be well prepared for. We produced an introductory video for our region, which was very successful. Before I took over as social media presence, and I've amped that up quite a bit, and we've gotten a lot of recognition. It's actually been very, very successful. We've got our face out there, and with that, obviously, our region is now out there, and people know who we are, what we have to offer, and why we're wonderful. We also do monthly videos, which has also been quite successful, where we showcase a community profile or a business story, or just a relocation story of people within the 3 municipalities. And it kind of gives that personal touch to things. So if you're looking at our area, if you want to move your business, move your family, it kind of gives you just a little bit of a personal touch. We're very open, and you can reach out to us with anything. And I think those videos really help. It really shows what our community is like. So coming to you guys, I mean, we all know that we're stronger for it together. And that's the key thing with this, is that we share a lot of the same challenges: youth out-migration, workforce shortages, rural and remote struggles, they're very real, and the need for economic diversification. So, I mean, joining forces would be great for all of us. Right now, Lac Cardinal Economic Development Board consists of the MD of Peace, the Village of Berwyn, and the Town of Grimshaw. We work very well together. We collaborate on everything. Our board has been functioning for over 25 years. And we did have Peace River as our member at one time. So, I mean, we have done this before where we have other groups joined us and it has worked successfully. I mean, I'm gonna leave you guys with this little printout of what makes us great and what we can offer. And let you make the choice on your own. I'm here to kind of give you the information about us and put the offer out there. If you want to work with us, we would love to have you. And together we're stronger and we can be better prepared for the future.
Thank you. So you answered my first question already, was who are the members, you listed them. Prita, like we're a member of Prita, as is MD of Peace, I don't know about Grimshaw.
Yep.
and Berwyn.
We are as well.
We all are.
Yep.
So how you guys work well together and collaborate?
Oh, yeah, we do.
So there's not gonna be any stepping on each other's toes, it's kind of a bit of overlap.
Nope. No, I attend all the Prita meetings and so does a member from each of the council. Yeah, and Gary, yeah, I've seen Gary there too. Yep.
And then my question for the council is, the fee structure, do you know what the fee structure would be, is it per capita?
It is per capita, yeah.
And-
I don't have a number for what your fee would be. On my sheet, I do include what Grimshaw, Berwyn and the MD, what their fees are, kind of give you an idea.
And
That
then we
way.
would be in that same
Yeah.
ballpark, I would assume.
Yeah,
right?
you would.
Because I mean, that'll be important for us to make a decision.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. There's a lot of factors, right? I mean, joining, it's huge. How would it work? You know, which is something we would like to invite you to come to one of our meetings, have a sit down with us and kind of iron out more specific details of how it would work.
No, I mean, we don't have a EDO now, and kind of passed it off to, between Josh and Trinity, they kind of look out to that, I mean, this would be maybe an opportunity to not say that you'd be our EDO, but you would, you know, by
Yeah.
default, kind of would be, and that might be a great opportunity, so.
Yeah.
Questions, I'm sure there must be some questions. So we would,
No.
if we did decide to join, we would have a representative, else we'd have to appoint to somebody
Yes.
to
Yep.
be our
So
representative.
we would like, well, we would have a representative from this municipality and we would like a member at large.
As well.
Yeah.
And you meet monthly other than the summer months.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, my question was gonna be the fee schedule, but we've got that structured, so.
Yeah, you'll leave that with her, she said.
Yep,
it.
I sure will.
No, you must have did good.
Our next meeting is July 7th. So, I mean, you're in touch with Bob. If it's something that you're interested in attending, just to come see how we operate, have a few conversations with our board members, we would love to have you.
I'm just wondering about activities, like, would you be would you organize things for the municipalities? Like, I know you're involved with the Harvest Moon. Festival.
Harvest Moon, Berwyn Fiesta, those types of things are just something I do. Yes, economic development is a bit part of that, but that's just something that, and I'm also the vice of our Chamber of Commerce as well. So I kind of got my foot in a lot of things. So that puts me on a lot of other boards as well and part of a lot of planning committees. So, yeah. But I mean, I'm up for it. I love it. So.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, other than the housing thing, what, is there any other things that you're working on?
Oh my God, right at the moment, housing is our biggest thing. Getting a social media presence is another huge thing we're doing. We had to, when I came on, and I've been in this role for 2 years. So we revamped websites. I went back to school. I've taken my year 1 and my year 2, so that did take some time. Yeah, right now, we're really just trying to get out there. So that has taken up a lot of our time, well, my time lately, just kind of giving us a social media presence, meeting with councils, kind of figuring out what direction they want us to go in. But in the past, I mean, we do a lot of kind of like entrepreneur boot camps where we set up different functions for business owners, where they have their, whatever need they have within their business, we kind of push them in the right direction to get the help that they need, whether it's social media or, could be anything, insurance. We set up all kinds of help for our local businesses. So we've done a lot of that. We played a big role in saving the Autumn Lodge in Berwyn. I'm sure you all heard about that. We were a huge part of that. We are looking into investment co-ops within the 3 communities right now. That's kind of been on the table for the past 2 years. We've always got a lot on the go. International entrepreneurs, part of that program. So weekly, I have all kinds of emails coming through that I kind of got to file through and see which ones we want to look into or push to the side. Yeah, we've got a lot going on all the time. Yeah.
So you were talking about helping businesses. So I know when we had an EDO here, we started a kind of a, what I call it, a log or a kind of a directory of businesses in the municipality.
Yes, that is also another thing I've done since starting.
You
Yeah.
can take that on for us?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Yep.
I mean, that way, when somebody comes to town to explore, maybe
Yes.
setting up business or whatever.
You've got everything in one spot,
Right,
all
so
your
like a
businesses.
person you can-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
Perfect.
And I'm not, I guess I should have looked, but a website. Do you guys have your own website for economic development?
Not for economic.
No.
They've got pages on our, we actually just consolidated our
Right.
website, they just had to. So now it's all WaunakCountyNorthernLights.com and everything's.
Yeah.
Well. Thanks for
Thank
making the
you.
drive out and.
Thank you for having me.
At the end of our meeting and
Okay,
hopefully we can bring some good news back to you.
perfect.
And you can just leave that with your.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You have a project here in the state. Okay. We can move down to the additions, 6.1.1, item F. There's a piece of a road track River Days invitation, so we've already agreed to go to the jet boat races, and now this kind of is part of it, I guess, right?
But there was some VIP suites available that council wants to have in the city. You already going?
Well, I'll be there, but I haven't talked to her. Trinity sent me the contact for the coordinator there. I'm not sure what time. I'm thinking the opening ceremonies would probably be in the afternoon, but I don't know that, so I'm most likely going to stick around all day for this, but
I think it was, thought it was 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah. So if it is, I mean, I'll be there anyway, right? I'm not worried about driving home in the dark that time of the year, so. So I don't know, I mean. We've already got the VIP seats, right? It's just a matter of who wants to use them. So if I have to respond to them, let them know.
Well, I think
Yes,
they'd like
these
to
are-
pay, yeah.
It says to RSPB, right?
So we can set a place just for you. Anybody else wanna go? Anybody planning on going already?
I'm planning on going.
Yeah, so they get a VIP seat then. Right?
I don't.
Well, why don't you reserve, you'd be going alone, right?
No, I'm
You too?
money to bring them.
So that's 3, and then I would probably bring my wife. I haven't asked her yet, but I think there's a car show, but I don't know if it says a hot rod show insurance, so I don't know what if it's a classic car show, then I'll take them out along. But yeah, tell them to save us 5 and hopefully we use them and. It's a big deal, like we're just a lawn chair sitting under the tree somewhere.
That's what we're doing.
Uh,
Picnic blanket on the riverbank.
Where you're going, Kevin?
Yeah, but I'll have all 5 of my kids in tow, so we're good to just picnic on the riverbank under an umbrella of KFC. Thanks.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to acknowledge receipt of the invitation and to book some VIP seats. Not the number, I guess 5.
I can,
Okay, Councillor Feet, oh, Councillor Gary made that sort of in the.
that's okay.
All in favor? It's carried. So next edition was item G, the application for the national designation of forest capital of Canada. So spoke with Councillor Worley from Mackenzie County. This is their second year running with forest capital of Canada. They applied and got it for 2023. And they kind of, I don't know, I don't understand that there's forestry all across Canada, but nobody else applied for 25, so they just rolled it over to them for another year, but they're wondering, they talked to Northern Sunrise and they didn't seem too keen on it for whatever reason, so this is what we would look at it. I mean, forestry is our biggest industry we have. And she said that she would help work with us, and I just got a text from her this morning saying that we will have to submit by next week, but can send it in back up after the meeting at the end of the month. Send in backup, okay, backup documentation. Or pull the application if they decide against it, so she wasn't sure if there was a deadline. Now there is a deadline. We have to submit by next week.
The 15th in the email there.
Thank you. So this is from the Forest Capital Canada application. Thank you for your inquiry and for your interest and dedication to the designation. We are willing to make an exception. We'll extend the deadline. Kindly complete and submit the application form by the current deadline. And if you send any supporting documentation as soon as it is available, that'd be appreciated. So get the application in right away if we're interested. And Lisa will help get any documentation that's required, because I have no idea what that is. I think you got a copy of the application, Jared? Yeah. So I don't know, maybe that's another thing to put on our busy schedules, but
I think it's cool. They did a whole lot of stuff in the last couple of years, like their website was busy, all the spin-offs that they did into the schools and stuff was really cool to watch. And
so look, it's funded through FRIA. So it's really no cost to municipality. They got, like Mackenzie County got some pretty big dollars, like I think in the neighborhood of $300,000 they got to do all the things they did. That would be another reason to bring Black Cardinal and
yeah,
their plate to help us with.
I don't know, maybe a little jealous when I seen all the things that they were about to do with it. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be 100% on board.
Well, I would be too, especially.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good idea, Terry.
Thanks, Linda.
And I think it's even nice of Lisa to think of us and kind of pass the torch and help us along. So I think that's great too.
Yeah, well, like I said, she'd be more than willing to help us get through it, to get it up and running there, and because she dedicated a lot of time to it. Mackenzie, and
for sure. I'm good to go ahead and make the motion.
you make that motion.
Yeah. Nothing to lose.
Okay.
Throw our name in the hat.
And submit an application as ASAP.
Yeah, on that original email, it said the 15th.
Yeah, so
Pretty close.
We'll still be the deadline,
Yeah.
but other than extended the backup stuff, so. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, move down to 6.1.2, the CAO report.
And my CO report is all about fire and more fire. I've been really blind in
in running with this fire because I haven't been in that area at all. So working off a map, I tried my best, and eventually I took a drive yesterday with Larry did it to actually see what it is about, and it is big and open, but there's also some real concerns with some of the structures that could be exposed with the fire going down. At least at the moment it's going up north, but a little bit, but you know, the wind could change any day at any time. The information I got from forestry throughout the 2 weeks week was that fire conditions are extreme, like you all know, it's very dry, especially fueled by a 50 knot wind. That did not help at all. Yeah, trying to work through that. I mean, get the information out of forestry sometimes is a bit tedious, but you sort of build relationship for them and try to, and then the information comes a little bit better, but it is sometimes a bit difficult.
So did they set up a command post, I guess, a base station, or are they just working out of the airport?
Well, they sort of had a base station, if you want to call it that, at Twin Lakes Lodge, what they did there.
It
It's
always
probably a
has,
good thing, because
yeah, because
when they will protect it, so.
yeah. Well, yeah, I know they got everybody, Pete sent me a picture, there was 3 helicopters and dozers and water trucks and everything sitting in his yard, so that's pretty good. But just when we had the Battle River Complex fire in 2019, they actually set a camp up by the community pasture, and they had their central office there, command center, I guess you call it. You go in there was maps and all sorts of guys and computers, and I didn't know if they had that for the Sims Creek fire.
I don't know if they have it up there, they haven't invited me to
Yeah,
that.
I don't think so, because what you've seen, or what I've seen on the pictures, there's no camp shacks, they're just working out of their pickup trucks and.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
No, that's my big update. I mean, some of the other items, we'll have a quick discussion in camera about some legal stuff, and the rest is all good for myself. Thank you.
Well, I think you did a pretty good job keeping us in the loop, for sure, appreciate that.
Yeah, and as soon as you get those updates from Forester, you let council, you pass them on immediately. It sure depends on the communication officer that they have. Some of them are really detailed and really prompt, and some of them are a little. I mean, I know they're busy, they've got fires all over the place, right? So this isn't the only ones, and so we gotta grant them a little bit of slack there, I guess.
Yes, they are busy because they are community, everybody involved, that's from forestry to wherever.
Yeah,
All of them.
and they've got a lot going on between air support and, international firefighters and municipal firefighters and.
Yeah.
Has Alan been in regular contact, like, if you guys been communicating, or now that it's kind of like from AEA?
Oh, and it's Stephen?
Yeah.
He's actually a superstar. He's not even on this fire, and he's texting me at least once a day for an update. He's a really good guy.
Awesome.
Really appreciate his support.
A super knowledgeable guy too, right? So that's
Absolutely.
great to have good communication, awesome.
He's actually stationed in Reeve Creek at the moment with the fire that's
Yeah.
going up and down there.
Awesome.
So I predict that if this fire moves south again towards Hawk Hills, that they'll put somebody in the room here, either Alan or one of his subordinates there, and
As soon as it gets closer, yeah.
they don't take it lightly, so, but like I say, right now, I mean, I guess Blake is probably as close as anybody is to it, or.
Sam Reaver, I think. I'm playing on the NASA Fire Maps website, he's the closest to 5.5 miles, and then me and Michael Freeling are in the next at 6. And then we'll see.
And then, I mean, James's elevator there.
It's all right there.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like I said. In the text, I think I said it was fires, and what fires do, it's just nothing can stop it when you get those inversions and those big winds.
But if you just look at the shape of the fire, you will see that it's going up and down.
It's only one.
Well, the wind kept changing direction.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
So, and so municipal affairs minister, who's our MLA, he phoned me. As soon as that fire kind of got out of hand, I said, well, do you need anything? I said, well, I'll let Garrett know. I mean, I think Alberta wildfires doing everything they can. They've brought airplanes in from the States and helicopters in from the States. It's actually pretty impressive at our airport right now. You go up there, there's two big Chinooks sitting there, a bunch of smaller helicopters, and that two big 4-engine jet bombers there from the States, and it was a happening place there. But unfortunately, with the winds and the smoke, they're grounded a lot of the time, right? And
Maybe just one last comment from me on that one is that I did receive feedback or like a touch base from all the CEOs in the region, asking me if they can help me, and it's just shot, so that was really good to hear that they are willing to help us out.
Awesome.
Okay, any other questions?
There showed on the fire map, fire a couple days ago west of town there. There, fire flared up, because it showed it briefly for 2 hours and then, no. Then I heard, didn't hear anything after that. Okay.
West of town?
Yeah, west.
Oh.
Because it showed up on the fire map, it's only on for 2 hours and then it showed under control, so I guess I assumed it was a small fire that got on.
Somebody, you thought it was a problem, maybe?
I don't know, that it's the only thing I heard about.
Usually, even when they're out of control, they still leave long enough, so it's funny they disappear so quickly.
Yeah, so they was only on
the.
That's interesting, because we didn't get a call out from the fire department.
You wouldn't have been able to get to where that one was
Is it-
on the map.
In the bush.
There's a way out there west of town, yeah. All bush, but it was, yeah, it is, it's not on the map anymore in their house. Weird.
So our county sprinkler trigger was deployed.
And then took down, and 12 hours later, they deployed another sprinkler.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
So what, ours is sitting ready to go now, or somebody else using it? Or?
No, it's still ready to go, but we might just need it. For Lakings.
Okay, other questions, get a motion to acknowledge CEO's verbal report? Okay.
I'd like to do that.
Okay, we'll put Linda down. She's delaying time.
I don't know, this is fun. I just wanted to say my blueberry patch burnt my Twin Lakes. There you go. I don't know if you heard that or not.
Her blueberry patch burn.
Oh. But when
Oh, like, that should be good for the berry thing. No, apparently, that's what I've been told.
And I think there was some confusion too, before we vote on this, on closing Highway 35. Like they close it at the North Hawk Hills turnoff, which makes sense, right? But then on the north end, they were blocking it off at Carcajou originally, the Carcajou turnoff, and then they moved it up to the Kid River Post turnoff. And if somebody got the message wrong.
Yeah, I think it was it's an RCMP officer coming down from high level that actually closed the northern part of it. So I think he stopped a little bit too
soon. Yeah. So somebody corrected that though.
Yeah. We did do that because I went short of.
Somebody probably just told them to close it at 695 and not realizing there's two entrances for 695 and just pick the first one to come to. So, okay, all in favor? That's good. Thanks, Gary. 6.15 finance. The May payment register. For our review.
And or questions if you have any.
Nothing you want to point out?
No, really. Not really anything exciting in this one.
Makes it easy, so.
that making machine.
Okay, Councillor Decker moves to acknowledge receipt of the May payment register and accept information. All in favor? Carried. Item B is the May bank reconciliation.
Once again, just there for your acceptance.
Move it. Okay, Councillor Reese moves to its acknowledge receipt of the bank reconciliation. Accept information. All in favor? Carried. And item C is the Director of Finance report.
Yes, I can speak to that one a little bit. Not a lot to report on. It's just been busy in the office with phone calls and helping people out, and people coming in to pay. The day that I wrote this, just did a little bit of reporting. So just some interesting stats there. For all of our taxes, there's 7,126 properties. Interestingly enough, 887 of those saw their actual tax levy increased by 10% or more. The highest one obviously inflated, they had a new house moved on or something, so the statistic there is quite high, but that's why. And the vast majority of them, as you can probably expect, saw their levy increase between 5 and 10%. And a bunch more between 0 and 5, so and then of course the 84 lucky ones that saw a reduction. That makes sense with how the phone calls are going this year, but it's kind of not really confrontational. People are unfortunately just kind of at a stage of accepting that everything goes up every year now, which isn't good either. That's kind of how it goes. So we had about 10.5% of what was levied collected so far this year. That's low, but I mean, it's very early. We're already getting post-dated checks, so we'll sit on those until the last couple days. Most people pay them in the last week, so that's par for the course. And this is probably higher now as well, but at the time we had helped with 17 inquiries. Just basically us being the liaison between the landowner and the assessor. People are more than willing to do that themselves. All the information is on the back of their tax notices. We just can't track it when we don't deal with people. So we don't know till we get any assessment changes. And most of those are, like I said before, just related to the value of improvements or things that have been removed or discontinued and not reflected in the assessments.
Have we taken any more calls from the south? Like, I know I still haven't got my notice in the mail. My neighbors haven't either, and we're just getting more of those, or
We get 20 phone calls a day.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Grimshaw and allegedly people whose name starts with R or S as the last name, just randomly. All of the tax notices were printed and they all left this office.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what to tell people. We've advertised that if people haven't gotten their notice, to please phone us and we will get them another one, preferably by email, so that we know that they get it.
Yeah.
But that's about all we can do, or they can phone in and confirm their balance and just pay it over the phone.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what you said last meeting too.
Go ahead, Linda.
I said, Josh, you brought that up at our last meeting, so I think everybody's.
Yeah. Yeah, just it hasn't gotten any better. They never did get there seemingly, so I have no idea. We did chat with the local Canada Post operators, and I think we made a phone call to Grimshaw as well, but not sure what anybody expected to come out of that.
No, just, I had a couple and they're like, oh, well, I'm not gonna pay it, you can mail it to me. I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way, but no.
So when people tell you that, please tell them to phone.
Yeah, and I have repeatedly, but.
Cause I get sick and tired of having that conversation by about the third day.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they sound less happy.
Yeah.
So those
No,
are
just
the,
curious.
wait, what, a month ago?
They were mailed out May 9th. Yeah.
So I mean, it almost looks like they're not gonna show up there anyway, unless they went to Newfoundland or something, run
Yeah.
over back to.
Well, and I mean, it was a 2-second phone call and mine was in my email. Like, it's not like it's difficult. It's not like it's a big time delay. It's just.
It takes us a while if you have like 75 of
Yeah,
them,
for sure.
but if you have one, it's a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it was quick. It just.
I don't know if Derek fell out of the back of a mail truck somewhere on the side of the highway or what, but.
Yeah, regardless, all good.
Yeah, so that was it on that, and the rest is just a little update on your council grounds, so. Here for your review and acceptance, and happy to take any more questions if there are any.
I'd like to make a motion to accept it as presented.
You got a really terrible connection, Linda, but
Yeah, I think what driving it comes in and out. Motion to accept.
questions, discussion, all in favor? Carried. Page 2.
Should we go into Blake's AFB meeting that was supposed to be at 10 at 15?
I was gonna ask, but.
He's gonna start throwing paper at us pretty soon if we don't get him out of here, I think.
It don't matter, you got like what Charles left anyways.
I got a fair amount of things.
Okay, that was scheduled for 10:15 or 10:47, so we'll just, now if we adjourn this meeting, yeah, and call to order our Ed Service Board meeting. So call to order adoption of the agenda.
On the agenda, do you want to add, the letter from Northern Sunrise County, talk about that, and, is there anything you want to talk about the town hall that was on the 4th?
So item B will be, I'll just put MSC. Item C could be, provincial update.
I don't have anything to, I thought it was all pretty standard, they talked about the grant.
It needs to have it on there, I think there's a few of us are on there, so.
Yeah, it's just if anybody thought they heard something that's worth discussing.
The only, I heard, and we can talk about it, we can put it on there.
Yeah.
But, item C, provincial update. Any other additions? Can I get a motion to accept the agenda with additions? Councillor Reese, all in favor? Carried. Minutes from our service board meeting out in March. And we just told them let's go.
Sorry, it was getting again.
Right. Councillor Reese.
Sunrise,
Oh, I'm sorry. And item C, that would be item B,
Oh, sorry.
that's all the great. Looks at that.
Three.
let's do it. The big short update.
Spaces.
We'll fix that.
Yeah.
Do I have an item on council as well? Under 6.60? Is there appointment of weed inspectors on there?
Yes.
Plus the reason.
There's, okay.
Oh, that's what, yeah, you did. Yeah.
You read. Okay, the minutes from March 11th, any discussions, rising, and we'll have the motion to all receive of those. Murray, Councillor Keys, all in favor, carried. Now we can jump down to number 4. Ag Service Field Report. Item A.
So I just basically gave you guys, a rough update kind of what we've been working on. So we've got some staff hired, returning staff from last year. We got the same boys, cutting grass that did last year. They're off to a much earlier start, dry weather grasses, mostly yellow and brown in areas. So it's, kind of a fast process at this point. Got 2 weed inspectors hired, Marina and Taylor. There's a council agenda item to appoint them officially as weed inspectors and pest inspectors for the county as well. We do that after. They're off to a good start. Taylor comes from down south. She's got a boyfriend in Chinook Valley area, worked for us. She worked for, I can't remember the county, but she's got relative experience doing some weed control and more community service type stuff, but she does a relative program in Olds around weed management and stuff, so she's been a pretty good asset. Marina's worked for both Fairview and MDPs, running like a bat wing mower, doing roadside cutting and spraying. She's had an authorized assistance ticket for spraying in the past, so she's got some relative experience in the area too. So they've been really good assets so far. As you guys know, we've got a new safety coordinator, so our safety program's a little more in depth. So we spent some time the first week going over and making sure they're certified and got all their boxes checked. So we did that kind of the first week. Rental equipment way slower this year with the amount of snow we've had. There's no real appetite to pump water, so that we didn't see a lot of that. The only thing that's going out is the rental equipment for 4-H for their achievement day here this week. They booked the scale. I've been spending a lot of time securing a special use approval for us to do some spraying on that site where we found tansy across the river with Northern Sunrise County. That is quite the process. Anytime you spray along a river, you have to do First Nations consultations, and it's a long waiting period, letter writing, wait for responses, get no responses, fill out a record of consultation log, and then submit for review. I submitted that for review in the last week of May, so I'm still waiting for the ACO office to make sure we jumped all the hoops. We also had to do a 30-day consultation where we put an ad out in the Banner Post, letting everybody know that this was going on, just a one-time ad, and then that was open for 30 days for comments. That closed June 9th on Monday. The 7th was actually our 30 days, but went till the 9th. We've received no written comments, so that part of it's good. So we should be able to effectively control ours by the special use approval allows us to use different chemicals and spray up to the water without basically getting in the water. And a larger area than just 10% of 1 meter when you're within 1 meter of the water. So that's good, and it lasts for 5 years. When we went through the special use approval, a lot of times you can get more than one special use approval in an area, but we were kind of hinted at that if wherever the source of the infestation is originating from is not controlled, they will be very reluctant to grant us an additional special use approval. So then we'll have to go back to the prior restrictions of chemicals we can use, how much we can spray when we're that close to the water, which would be a bit frustrating. I don't know if you guys seen the letter, but the letter was attached in this. I'm sure Terry's seen it. I'm not sure if he forwarded it off to everybody, but it basically said that they were willing to arrange like a work bee and help us pick weeds. And I'm just like, we're not going to be able to pick a perennial creeping root plant like tansy. So we're still not on the same page. So I reached out to their fieldman, which they don't have a fieldman, so their weed coordinator there. And she goes on mat leave on July 7th. So I kind of been asking them like, well, what are you guys doing? Because we got a special use approval, like we're ready to try to eradicate this problem. Then I notified them that because they have a water intake there, there's no changes to the rules on what you can do on around a water intake, even with a special use approval. So water intake and upstream 250 meters, you can't do any spraying at all. So their infestation is right at their water intake and slightly above it. Anything downstream they can do something with. So they have to come up with another strategy. So I kind of phoned them like, what have you guys been doing the last 4 or 5 months? Because we got a special use approval, we're ready to go. And they basically said, well, we don't have a fieldman here and nobody's really taking it on. So I was a little bit frustrated to realize that they're not even being proactive with it. And with the letter, they're saying they're willing to come help us solve our problem, but they're not even doing nothing to solve their problem. So I'm just like, we have ours handled, right? Like this is what the whole discussion has been, is about encouraging you guys to be proactive. And now I'm still hearing because you lost your ag fieldman and you're going on mat leave. She just basically told me, don't expect anything to happen this year. And I just went, well, why send us a letter saying you're going to help us then if you're telling me don't expect anything to happen this year, right? So then she asked for maps. So she asked me for maps about their problem, which I sent her some maps outlining where the problems were, because now she's going to start looking into jurisdiction, who owns what. And I tried to tell her, like, I fully agree with you. It's in the green zone. It's owned by the province. But what is going to happen is you're going to phone vacant lands and go to send them a weed notice. And they're going to tell you, this is what they're going to tell you, because I just talked to him. They don't have any staff to control it. So would you like to control it, is what they're going to ask as a municipality. Will you control it on behalf of us? You're going to say no. You're going to issue them a weed notice with an enforcement date. You're going to go back and phone them and say, hey, did you spray your weeds? And they say, no, we told you to do it. And then they're going to say, okay, we'll move along to enforcement. When you move along to enforcement, you do the work and then you bill them back, right? Which they're already going to give you a service agreement up front to do the work anyways. So that you're just going to have to do it yourself unless you're writing a weed notice and go, well, they didn't enforce and I don't want to deal with it. So I'm just going to turn a blind eye. I'm like, you're just going to get caught in this loop where it comes back to you anyways, right? So either you can waste a month sending them a weed notice and then doing enforcement, or you can just be proactive and deal with it yourself because you know the government of the area is not gonna come handle it. And then they were just like, well, yeah, we never really considered that. And I'm just like, you guys have had 5 months to do something and I don't know. That's where the conversation left. I sent them a bunch of maps. They said they were gonna look into it and see how eager CNRL was. Cause what I was saying to them is like, the only option you guys are gonna have is to take down that section of fence 100 feet and then excavate the bank and take that dirt somewhere where you can do weed control on it. And then just re-dirt that portion of the bank, which isn't a very big area. But somebody's gotta wanna get the approvals. So that's my big long point there, kind of ties into the letter as well, but.
So, end of the day, you're gonna go over and do what you did last year on ours.
Yeah.
And then you talked about having municipal affairs look at moving that boundary. Did you ever get started on that or inquire about it or?
Yeah, I did talk to the lady again, I don't remember her name, slow time went by, but. She said there's nothing in the MGA, like there's stuff in the MGA for annexations, so like if we decided we all of a sudden wanted this piece of Northern Sunrise and we were gonna take it. But there's nothing for like reverse annexations where it's like, hey, this part of our boundary we don't want, you just have it. There's nothing for that. But he did say there is a process where you can get it basically signed off by the minister, so you have to sit down with the minister, explain your case. And if he basically sees, he can basically write the resolution or whatever to change that, right? She said there's a little bit of a process for that. She was gonna be, this was only like 2 weeks ago, she was gonna be getting me more information, but I haven't heard from her yet on what that process is, but it sounds like we're gonna have to lobby the Minister of Municipal Affairs directly on this issue.
Got it in our backyard now, so rather than somebody out of Calgary, so we.
Yeah.
Simpler, but I mean, his staff will obviously advise him what to do, right, so.
So I don't know if, Dan Williams could help us with that too, talking with him and talking
He's the
with.
municipal affairs man.
Oh, Dan Williams is now? Okay, I didn't know that. That's news to me, but yeah,
Oh, guy.
you should go there and I guess talk to him and see if it makes sense. Cause like to me, it doesn't make sense us going over that where these boundaries are clearly arbitrarily drawn. Like you can just see on the different land formations, somebody decided this is high water mark, but then you get this piece that's clearly not a high water mark and the river moves over time as well. Slow process, but it does.
So I mean, that process is not gonna be quick, probably, it's probably gonna have to, it has to go through cabinet or whatever, but it might take a while, but, so for this year. I guess you're gonna have to just deal with it like you did last year, but we should probably look at doing that. Then the problem goes away for us, right, that.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, the special use approval is 5 years, so it grants me a lot of different flexibility on how we can handle that problem, so we can actually move to eradication. But if they continue to want to do nothing, we're gonna lose access to a special use approval. Is my only concern with like trying to work with them, and then I just get letters like this where it's like, well, we're willing to work with you and fix your problem for you, and it's like, are you though? Like, we wouldn't keep talking to you, like, we wouldn't keep talking to you if this was the reality we live in, but. So I'm not really hopeful that Northern Sunrise County staff will be able to do anything because, like I said, the one lady that has any experience there doing weed control is on mat leave July 7th or something. They don't have a new fieldman hired. By the time they say they even hired a fieldman by July 1st, they're a month, 45 days out before getting a special use approval or any kind of approval to excavate the bank. Well, by then we're already at seed set. So it'll be a matter of touching base with them, come at least remove the seeds you can, or dig up some plants and do the best you guys can, but I think we're already looking at 2026 on that issue. The other issue is we've had some people phone requesting 1080. 1080 is a coyote toxicant that we lost access to because the province didn't have it properly labeled and they were allowing decantation from larger jar into smaller jar, which the label doesn't allow. They were supposed to have that back to us at the beginning of March for calving season. We still don't have it. I talked to them last week. They told me 2 weeks and maybe we can see some. So probably in all reality, we'll see it in September, my guess, but.
So they took all yours away, you had to turn it in?
I brought it to that ASB conference when we went in January and returned it. So that is one thing that we've been getting calls about, but our hands are kind of tied behind our back. June 4th, we did have a town hall. I thought it was pretty basic. They talked about the grant, some things they're working on. And then I finalized our last reporting year for our 2024 grant. I did that. Their final report for that was submitted, and then last week on Wednesday, the same day as the town hall on the 4th, we got our grant agreement for our new grant. They try to make it sound exciting, like we're getting $900,000, but we're only getting $166,000 over 5 years. So it's basically the same amount we had last year. And then we actually did qualify for the resource management funding stream that we're going to pass on to NAPERA, which is $12,152. Is they basically have a lump sum of money, everybody that submits to it asking for money, and then they divide it by everybody that asked for money, basically what it looks like, and then you get your share of it. So we'll have that additional $12,000 to pass on to NAPERA. And then we also got NAPERA signed up to do more trapping of insect trapping like they did in the past when Nora was there, and then they kind of lost some of it. And I've been in discussions with Shelley Barkley and kind of just said like, hey, they're going around doing a lot of this stuff on other farmers' fields, and they're doing like the soil health benchmark initiatives. I'm like, they're already got staff traveling the area. Like we can add checking traps to the list. And she kind of mentioned they were opposed to it. And then I kind of just, maybe I should ask you, but I just told them and said, hey, we give you guys a lot of money. You can check like an additional 6 traps across the county. And they agreed to do that as well. The other thing I never put on here is water testing. NAPERA did get a grant. Maybe Terry's seen that. I'm not sure if you guys are all aware of that, but they did get a grant through a grant we couldn't apply for, but they could apply for doing municipal water testing. And I think Gerhard helped them work through that grant and me a little bit. And I think they did sign that last month. So I don't know exactly how much money, but they did get money to offset that quality water testing. And we are working with an issue, maybe I'll just make you aware of that, the quality water testing last year, they gave us a project cost of 12 grand. And for some reason, Teresa Van Oort always looked after that. I never really had anything to do with it because I then have some relevance in it. I looked at it this year, so I pulled up all the stuff, and it turns out they billed us 21 grand for that project. So I'm still trying to work with their staff at Equality to figure out why did you bill us a project that was going to cost this much? And there's kind of some real gray areas where nobody appears to be managing the project, which is kind of weird because they're a consultation company, so they should have been managing the project, and they should have been catching that it went that much over budget by their lab testing company that they were using. But everybody's kind of playing the blame game, like, well, we're doing what NAPERA asked us, and we're supposed to be looking after it, but then we're paying for it. And then it's kind of a weird area where for a while NAPERA was paying for it and then billing us back. And then last year we went to just paying it directly, but nobody was really overseeing. Like somebody should have caught that when it went over 12 grand at what it was quoted at, and at least asked like, hey, why did we change the scope of work? But nobody has any answers. I've been playing phone tag with that guy for 3 months now, and he still has no answers for me. But that's something else we're working on. But that's basically my report for like the last 3 months.
So then item B was addition of other summaries. Onto that, we already kind of discussed that, right? So
Yeah.
nothing bad there, I don't think that. They sent a nice letter saying they'd help us, but they have nobody to know what that means. And then item C, the provincial update, I'm kind of touching that too, because that was at one point. John Condon said, average we're getting is $800 and some thousand. That sounds like a big number. I know that the Blake's in the middle, that's divided by 5 years, right? Whatever our amount is, so. But I mean, it's still, should be thankful we still got it, right? It keeps our department moving, so.
Yeah.
Not only anybody else have the comments out of the.
It's always different when John's on there. Like I know the fall when he wasn't there, it was very to the point,
Yeah.
and then he gets on there and then it just kind of.
And then he's the talker.
Yeah, you get all over the place. I was like, okay, you're losing me, buddy. You're gonna come back. Yeah.
But you at least get a lot of honest answers, that's for sure.
That's, yeah.
Well, he's good.
But no, I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
That probably covers the town hall one too, or the provincial update. You can just accept probably all 3 of those for information if You want,
We'll put that in the info package.
the what, sir?
What was that? The town hall?
The town hall, is that what you were calling the provincial update?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have nothing in the other items. There's some correspondence for information. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so the grant is in there. I'm not sure if you guys want to read it, but me and Gerhard can sign that today. And then John Conrad did mention that they were actually paying those grants out pretty quick, which is usual, is different. A lot of times we don't see that money until September, but he was saying like, once these grant agreements are signed, we're getting you the money for 2025, like within a week. I don't think we're hurting for the money, but it's nice to get that offset while we're actually working.
Okay. With that, oh, we need a motion to, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. To acknowledge the ag fuel in the report.
I can move that.
Okay, Councillor Shen. All in favor? Carried.
Mary, I'm sorry, but I'm in and out all the time, so I just sent you a message. Right, can I get
Okay, so. I don't,
We're doing those all
motion for those other two items or?
Yes, except for information or.
Yeah.
You wanna add them all as one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it all at the same time. Or I did anyways.
I can just. Move item B down. And we can make a motion to. Acknowledge. I don't know, maybe just. Acknowledge that from the Sunrise County and. The provincial update from John Conrad, I guess. The ADL, we make that motion.
Yeah.
Brenda will, okay. Don't see you. I'll just let Deb catch up here after. The letter from, is RSL online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to look at trying to secure a meeting with Dan at some point to talk about this issue of the boundary or?
I think it's gonna be a time process, so maybe start that.
I imagine he's gonna be pretty busy.
No, mine.
You're doing great.
Yeah, thanks.
While everybody's watching you.
Yeah, that doesn't add any, there's no pressure, no
Okay.
pressure.
Councillor Sinsky made the motion, all in favor? It's carried. Thanks, Mike. Meeting adjourned.
I do have another item on council as well. I'll just stick around until after ISL.
We'll get to our ISL, our blue package. So that meeting is adjourned and we will call to order our Municipal Planning Commission meeting at 11:09. Okay, so item 2, adoption of the agenda, nothing to add to it. Get a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Reese, all in favor? Carried. Minutes from May 27th. Any discussion? Get a motion to accept the minutes for information. Councillor Thies, all in favor? It's carried. Item 4.0, item A. There's development permit separation by the development officer. Okay, Councillor Deccan makes that motion to acknowledge receipt of the 2 permits, accept for information, all in favor?
Wait, sure.
And with that, we can adjourn that meeting. At 11:11. So maybe we'll, since we've got ISL online, maybe we'll jump down to 6.61. And I guess we'll just go through order, But it would find that first.
You do have Gail and Debbie both online.
Okay.
Not sure who will be speaking.
So I gotta find myself there. Straight after Charles's reports. This one? Yeah, it'll overrate. Okay, so welcome Debbie and Gail. We have moved on to our regular agenda, and we're at 6.6.1, item A is a road closure resolution 25 NL06. Who would like to speak to that?
Good morning. I will be speaking to that. Thank you. So the purpose of this application is to close an undeveloped portion of road right-of-way, Road Plan 271 EU, accepting thereof all mines and minerals. The right-of-way is not required for roadway purposes, and once closed, it will be consolidated into the title for the land located within the southwest of 1789-23 west of the 5th. The road closure area is undeveloped and located within that quarter section. The total area to be closed and consolidated with the quarter section is 1.02 hectares or 2.51 acres. It has been confirmed by the county that the intended roadway is no longer needed, as the construction of Highway 35 to the west of the proposed parcel eliminated the need for construction of the road plan. Alternative means of access to the quarter section is available from the undeveloped road allowance located immediately south. All quarters surrounding the proposed parcel are zoned Agriculture A district, with the exception of the quarter immediately south, which is zoned Crown Land CL district. Alberta Transportation has confirmed they have no objections to the road closure. The county's Public Works Department has advised that the site is surplus to municipal roadway requirements, and legal and physical access to the closure area will be provided by an undeveloped government road allowance to the south. Once closed, the closure area will be consolidated with the adjacent lands. The Grimshaw Gravels Aquifer Management Advisory Association, TELUS, and Alberta Energy Regulator have indicated that they have no concerns with the proposed road closure. Alberta Forestry and Parks, or Public Lands Disposition Management, has responded indicating they have reviewed the proposed closure of Road Plan 271 EU within the southwest of 1789-23 west of the 5th and has found it to be acceptable. No additional concerns regarding the road closure were received from other referral agencies or adjacent landowners. Based on technical review, it is recommended that the attached resolution for the proposed road closure be approved by the County of Northern Lights on the basis that the proposed closure area will facilitate the consolidation of an undeveloped portion of road right-of-way, is not required for roadway purposes, the quarter has legal and physical access, and the terms of the proposed closure meets the requirements of Alberta Transportation and the county.
Okay, thank you. So we have that draft resolution before us. So any questions from council on this? Seeing none, somebody will make the motion. Councillor Sharp moves to acknowledge receipt of the road closure report and to close the undeveloped portion of the road right away as described. Any discussion, clarification? All in favor? Carried.
Yes.
Okay. Item B, subdivision report 25 NL03. Who would like to speak to this one?
I'll be speaking to this one. Thank you. This application, the applicant is proposing to subdivide two parcels identified as Area 2 and Area 4 on an attached map. Council may want to take a look at that map. It shows 5 areas. It's within the Southwest 990, 22 west of the 5th, and consolidation of those parcels with the southeast of 990, 22 west of the 5th. Area 2 and 4 are severed from Area 1 and 3 by Russo Creek. The subject lands are located 4.6 kilometers north of Deadwood and 12.2 kilometers southeast of North Star. Area 1 through 5 are designated District. Area 1 is developed with the residents and outbuildings. Area 3 is developed with abandoned buildings. However, there's no residents on the property. Area 1 and 3 have legal and physical access to Range Road 224, and Area 2 and 4 are undeveloped, and once consolidated with the Southeast 9, will have legal and physical access to Township Road 902. Each of Area 1 and 3 are more than 4 hectares or 10 acres allowed for in the A district. The additional parcel size will accommodates a dwelling, unit, outbuildings, and open discharge system in Area 1, and recognizes that both Area 1 and 3 are fragmented from Area 2 and 4 by Russo Creek. The creek creates, sorry, I'm just trying to get my mouse ready here. The creek creates a natural boundary to create the new parcels. All lands adjacent to the quarter section are designated Ag District. The proposed subdivision is compatible with the existing land uses in the surrounding area and not considered to have a negative impact on adjacent lands. The proposed subdivision and consolidation comply with policies 4.2.4 and 4.2.6 of the MDP, which allows for the subdivision of fragmented parcels and consolidation of the agriculture parcel. The application was referred to a number of agencies and there were no concerns, and to adjacent landowners. Our recommendation is that the subdivision to create one 51.1 acre parcel identified as Area 1, 36.8 acre parcel identified as Area 3, 32.1 acre parcel identified as Area 2, and 38.3 acre parcel identified as 4 from Southwest 9 be approved subject to the conditions listed.
Okay, any questions? Let's take a look at this. Right, there's no questions. Is somebody prepared to make that motion to approve the subdivision with conditions?
I will, Terry.
Councillor Decker made that motion. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next one, item C is subdivision report 25 NL 06.
Okay, I will be speaking to that one. So the applicant owner proposes to subdivide a 25.4 hectare or 62.7 acre parcel, which is physically severed from the balance of the lands on the southwest of 178923 west of the 5th. The proposed parcel is more than 4 hectares or 10 acres maximum. The county's land use bylaw allows for fragmented parcels in the agriculture general A district. The additional parcel size is required to accommodate a treed area which surrounds an unnamed waterway which runs in an east-west direction throughout the quarter section. The county's municipal development plan and the land use bylaw grants discretion to the development authority to approve larger parcel sizes for both fragmented and vacant first parcel out of a quarter section. Based on site characteristics, it is reasonable to consider the applicant's request for a 25.4 hectare or 62.7 acre parcel. The quarter section and proposed area is 19.8 kilometers south of the Manning Airport, 19.3 kilometers north of Dixonville, and 275 meters east of Highway 35. The southern boundary of the proposed parcel is located adjacent an east-west undeveloped government road allowance, while both the proposed parcel and the balance of the quarter are adjacent to a north-south undeveloped government road allowance. The quarter section and land contained within the proposed parcel are designated A district. The proposed parcel is located adjacent the south boundary of the quarter section. The north boundary of the proposed parcel is covered with trees. An unnamed waterway runs in an east-west direction through the treed area. Lands contained within the proposed parcel are not readily accessible by vehicle or farm equipment from the balance of the lands to the north. Most of the lands contained within the balance of the quarter section are in agriculture production. A road allowance registered on title is no longer needed, and the county has recommended that it be closed. All quarter sections surrounding the proposed parcel are zoned agriculture A district, with the exception of the quarter section immediately south, which is zoned Crown Land CL district. The proposed parcel is compatible with existing land uses in the surrounding area and is not considered to have a negative impact on adjacent lands. The proposed parcel complies with policy 4.2.6 of the Municipal Development Plan, which allows the subdivision of fragmented parcels. The proposed parcel size exceeds the 4 hectare or 10 acre allowed by the AR district. However, the proposed 21.6 hectare or 53.4 acre parcel is reasonable as it is dictated by the presence of an unnamed waterway. Alberta Forestry and Parks, Alberta Energy Regulator, Grimshaw Gravels Aquifer Management Advisory Association, and TELUS have responded that they have no concerns. North Peace Gas Co-op has responded indicating that although the right-of-way currently registered on title is not being used, they would prefer the right-of-way or utility right-of-way remain on the title, as there may be a need for future gas service on this parcel of land. Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors has responded indicating that any proposed development on the subject lands will require the benefit of a roadside development permit. They have also indicated that access to the balance of the corridor shall be from the existing direct highway access to part southeast 1889-23 west of the 5th via an easement agreement. The municipality is responsible to ensure that the agreement is drafted in such a way that the easement runs with both title and is registered in conjunction with the subdivision. No comments from adjacent landowners or other referral agencies were received. So it is recommended that the subdivision application to create a 25.4 hectare or 62.7 acre parcel from the southwest of 1789-23 west of the 5th be approved, subject to the conditions outlined.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll need a motion. Council desires to approve the subdivision with the conditions.
I will.
Reading.
I said I would.
Thank you, Linda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next is item D, subdivision report 25 NL08.
Okay, I'll also be speaking to that one.
Okay, thank you.
So the applicant proposes to subdivide a 14.9 hectare or 36.8 acre parcel from the northwest of 338822 west of the 5th for a first parcel out. The proposed parcel is more than 4 hectare or 10 acre maximum the county's land use bylaw allows for in the agriculture general district. The additional parcel size is required to accommodate an existing driveway to an open area on the quarter. The county's municipal development plan and the land use bylaw grant discretion to the development authority to approve larger parcel sizes, and the MDP allows the subdivision of a first parcel out from a subdivision based on site characteristics. It is reasonable to consider the applicant's request for the 14.9 hectare or 36.8 acre parcel. The proposed parcel is located east of Range Road 224, which ends at the north boundary of the proposed subdivision and is designated as a field access road. The proposed parcel is located 25.2 kilometers southeast of Manning town limits. The quarter section and land within the proposed parcel are designated A district. The proposed parcel is located on the south boundary of the quarter section. Roseau Creek flows in an east-west direction through the proposed parcel. The parcel is heavily treed with exception of an open area where the applicant has placed a park model home on wheels and 2 sea cans. A wetland review shows areas of swamp, bog, and open waters. A portion of the proposed parcel and lands immediately north of the proposed subdivision are in agricultural production. The balance of the quarter section is heavily treed with scrub and bush. The 4 quarters directly to the north, directly west, northwest, and southwest are zoned A district, while the 4 quarters to the south, directly east, southeast, and northeast are zoned Crown Land District. The proposed parcel is compatible with existing land uses in the surrounding area and is not considered to have a negative impact on adjacent lands. The proposed parcel is accessed by Range Road 224, which is designated as a field access road. Range Road 224 is a no exit road which ends at the entrance to the proposed parcel. The proposed parcel complies with policy 4.2.9 of the MDP, which allows the subdivision of a vacant first parcel out of an unsubdivided quarter section. Policy 4.2.9A of the MDP places restrictions on the subdivision of better agricultural land for a vacant first parcel out, unless the lands are not being actively farmed. The proposed parcel has a creek, wetlands, and a small open area, which is not being actively farmed. Policy 2.9B of the MDP further requires that a vacant first parcel out must be a maximum of 4.0 hectare or 10 acre unless physical characteristics warrant a larger size. The proposed parcel size of 14.9 hectare or 36.8 acres is warranted as the parcel provides a suitable building site and is intended to accommodate a movable park model home, is not in agriculture production, has access from Range Road 224, and the applicant has advised that the site is not prone to flooding. The proposed parcel exceeds the maximum lot of 4.0 hectare of the Agriculture General District. The Development Authority may approve larger parcel sizes for land that are not in agriculture production. Responses were received from Alberta Energy Regulator, Pembina Pipelines, and TELUS, all having no concerns with the proposed subdivision. ATCO Electric has advised that they will be approaching the landowner as they will require a right-of-way on the subject lands. It is recommended that the subdivision application to create a 14.9 hectare or 36.8 acre parcel from the Northwest 338822 west of the 5th be approved, subject to the conditions outlined.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, need a motion to approve the subdivision with the 7 conditions.
I'll move.
Councillor Wusinski. All in favor? It's carried. Item B, subdivision 25 NL09.
Okay, that one is mine going forward. The applicant is proposing to subdivide a 13.4 hectare parcel from the Northwest 159323 west of the 5th as a farmstead. The proposed parcel is more than the 4 hectares maximum allowed for in the A district. The additional parcel size is required to accommodate the physical characteristics of the site, which includes an existing driveway, farm building, stable, cistern, shed, and drainage course. There is no residence on the parcel at this time. The proposed parcel is defined by the drainage course and adjacent roads. The county's MDP allows the separation of farmstead, and based on the site characteristics, it's reasonable to consider the request for a 13.4 hectare parcel. The proposed parcel is located at the northeast corner of Range Road 233 and Township Road 932A, 2.7 kilometers east of Hotchkiss and 14.5 kilometers north of Manning town limits. The quarter section and the land within the proposed parcel are designated ag. The proposed parcel is located on the southwest part of the quarter section, and the balance of the quarter section is under agriculture production. All surrounding quarters are in agriculture production. The proposed parcel is compatible with existing land uses in the surrounding area and is not considered to have a negative impact on adjacent lands. With the MDP, there is no conflict. Policy 4.27 allows for the subdivision of land to accommodate a farmstead separation, and the subdivision meets the intent of the MDP. ATCO Electric, out of all the referrals, ATCO Electric will be requiring a power line right-of-way on their facilities directly affected by this subdivision, and they'll be contacting them directly. There were 4 landowners notified, and there were no objections received. It is recommended that the subdivision application to create the 13.4 hectare parcel from the Northwest 159323 west of the 5th be approved, subject to the following conditions outlined. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any questions? I'll make a motion that we all receipt of the application and approve with the 7 conditions. All in favor? Carried.
Yeah.
And our subdivision is item F. 25 NL07.
Okay, I'll be speaking to that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the applicant owner proposes to subdivide a 21.6 hectare or 53.4 acre parcel from the southeast of 1789-23 west of the 5th for a vacant first parcel out. The proposed parcel is more than 4 acres or 4 hectares or 10 acres maximum. The county's land use bylaw allows for in the agriculture general A district. The additional parcel size is required to accommodate an existing woodlot. The county's municipal development plan and the land use bylaw grants discretion to the development authority to approve larger parcel sizes, and the MDP allows the subdivision of a first parcel out from the subdivision. Based on site characteristics, it is reasonable to consider the applicant's request for the 53.4 acre parcel. The proposed parcel is located at the northwest corner of Township Road 892 and Range Road 234, 1.4 kilometers east of Highway 35 and 19.3 kilometers north of Dixonville. The quarter section and lands contained within the proposed parcel are designated A district. The proposed parcel is located on the east boundary of the quarter section and is heavily treed. A portion of the balance of the quarter section and a small area located north of the proposed parcel are in agriculture production. The balance of the quarter is also treed with a smaller grassed area in the northwest corner. A creek runs in an east-west direction in the northwest corner on the balance of the quarter section. All quarters surrounding the proposed parcel are zoned A district with exception of the quarter section immediately east and the quarter section to the southwest of the proposed parcel, which are zoned Crown Land District. The proposed parcel is compatible with existing land uses in the surrounding area and is not considered to have a negative impact on adjacent lands. The proposed parcel is accessed by Township Road 892, which is designated as a residential roadway and may be accessed from Range Road 234, which is designated as field access. The balance of the quarter section is accessed via Township Road 892 and located west of the proposed parcel. The proposed parcel complies with policy 4.2.9 of the MDP, which allows the subdivision of a vacant first parcel out of an unsubdivided quarter section. The MDP places restrictions on the subdivision of better agriculture land for a vacant first parcel out unless the lands are being actively farmed. The proposed parcel is heavily treed and is not being actively farmed. The MDP further requires that a vacant first parcel out must be a maximum of 4 hectares or 10 acres unless physical characteristics warrant a larger size. The proposed parcel size of 21.6 hectares is warranted as the parcel is heavily treed and considered to be a woodlot. The proposed parcel size of 4.4 hectares allowed by the A district. However, the proposed 21.6 hectares parcel size is reasonable. It is not under agriculture protection and is required to accommodate an existing woodlot. Comments were received from Alberta Energy Regulator and TELUS, both indicating they had no concerns with the proposed subdivision. Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors has advised that they expect that the municipality will mitigate the impacts for this proposal to the highway system. No additional comments were received from referral agencies or adjacent landowners. It is recommended that the subdivision application to create a 21.6 hectare or 53.4 acre parcel size from southeast to 1789-23 west of the 5th be approved, subject to the conditions outlined.
Thank you. Any questions? No, and a motion to approve the subdivision with the 7 conditions. Okay, Councillor Reese, all in favor? It's carried. Okay, item G, administrative planning and development update.
Yeah, that gets to be me, just find it, no Pearl today, no big issues to put you guys to sleep with like the last meeting. So really just here with stats on the inquiries received by us and by ISL. And here for your acceptance.
It was a busy month for subdivisions.
Yeah. I think Gail and Debbie would concur, yeah.
Okay, Councillor Decken has made a motion to acknowledge receipt of the administrative planning and development update, accept the information, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you, ISL.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We can go back up on the agenda.
Well, if you want, Terry, you can do.
Okay, let's Go down on the agenda then. 6.6.3, item A, so we need pest inspector appointments, so this shouldn't take us long. You want to
Yeah.
talk about them and said, well, how great they are, so you just need a motion to appoint them.
Yeah, boilerplate, same as last year, exact same motion, probably copy and paste.
Hopefully the names are different.
Change it back.
So any questions on that? Otherwise, I'll have somebody will.
I'm just moving it, yeah, okay.
Jerry, can I have a question? I have a question. Blake,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Blake, is there a way that you can, if you have to go and spray somebody's yard, that you contact them first? Do you?
Yeah, that's just the same as always. If we find anything in anybody's yard, we contact them ahead of time, right? Unless they sign a form saying that we can basically control it. Like whenever we're going by, the girls have a folder of those forms to sign for people to give us permission. But if not, if it's a new person, we find an issue, we try to we'll always make contact with some resident on the tax notice to provide basically authority to do what we need to do.
Okay, thank you. That's what I've told somebody. But make sure.
Has there been an issue or?
No, just somebody
No.
brought it up. They want to know if there is an issue at their place.
Yeah, I don't even think they've actually been in Keg River
For a while.
yet this year. They've been focused down south. Both girls actually, or women live on Chinook Valley, like 3 miles apart from each other. So we've been letting base station kind of out of Dixonville, so there's not so much empty driving, and most of our weed concerns are in the south anyways. So they have been utilizing the truck out of Dixonville in the south. So just saves everybody, and they've actually been working 4 10-hour days instead. So works out good for all of us.
Okay, thanks for answering.
Okay, have a motion to adopt receive the appointment report and appoint Rena and Taylor.
I can move that.
Okay, Councillor Chun, all in favor? Carried, thanks Blake.
Oh, and I should say by the south out of Dixonville, they've actually been taking the side-by-side home at night, so it doesn't get stolen. It's probably safer in their yard than Dixonville at this point.
Okay, we move back up to 6.3.1, Public Works, item A is the Director of Public Works report.
So I've got a couple verbal additions to this, but I'll run through what I got here right now. So dust control starting on the 16th. Tentatively, depends on what the supplier, what happens there, but they figure 16th is a good start date, so. Re-gravel will be starting beginning of July, which will let us do our dust control and get all that done. 2025 bridge maintenance program, we talked a little bit last meeting about, I was going into a meeting on Friday to solidify what we were going to be doing for our bridge maintenance program this year. Those 4 bridges are the ones that we selected. There 3 of them are medium priorities, and 1 is a low priority, but it's gonna be a fairly cheap fix to get us to extend the life by about 15-20 years, so hopefully. So just gonna run through this real quick. 72317 is gonna get girder repairs and substructure repairs. 71430 is girder patching, replacing struts and back wall plank replacements. 71023 is girder leg repairs and a possible cap replacement. And 72830 is girder leg repairs, wing wall repairs, shim the piles and band the piles. So it's gonna be within our budget this year. We're in the process of getting the tender put together and all the technical information compiled, our engineers. And then we'll put that out for tender We also, Smith Mills Bridge has gone out to tender. It will close near the end of the month. I can't remember the exact date. And like I've said repeatedly, it'll be a couple weeks, bounce piles in, drop the bridge on top to oversimplify it.
Say for some reason, I thought it was already tendered.
No, so that was Carcajou. That was the Carcajou Bridge, yeah. So, in that note, we did our pre-construction here for the Carcajou Bridge. And they're tentatively planning, or we're planning to start on the 13th. That hasn't changed as far as I know. Shouldn't be there too long, but things come up. Should be done by the end of next month, I believe. Yeah, they'll have a crew of 5 or 6 guys. They'll be working probably 6 days a week, so. Other than that, is there any questions on that stuff?
I mean, the fires are not close to that right now, so.
No.
Yeah. So that should,
And they're coming out of the creek anyway, so. Not that matters much, but.
we'll see the ferry shut down again for low water, so they'll have to go around, but unless that changes, I guess.
Yeah, they'll likely stay in high level. When they start up this project, so.
I'm not gonna bring a captain for that short of a job.
No.
There is a camp at Cape River there if you could stay at.
I think she's pretty full right now though, Linda.
Yeah, might be, but you never know, he's got lots of cabins there.
Oh, for sure. So one of the things to add here, so as I'm sure you're all aware, we were unsuccessful first step this year. We've scheduled a debrief with the regional director, the grants administrator, and a technical individual from Alberta Transportation. That'll be this Friday. We'll come back to you with some more information on that once we discuss with them. This year's summer road tour. I just want to float an idea out there that maybe we postpone it until the fall or till next year. Given that there are elections this year. I don't know how. I figured I'd bring it to you guys, see how you felt about that. Not that I don't like touring around with y'all, but.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings. But
Yeah, I think fires and everything else that's going on, I think we could easily put it off.
think we'll put it off and. Do we wanna just do it next summer? Or in fall?
None of us might be here.
Well, yeah, so I'll bring it to. The people that are sitting here next. Yeah, well, I'm good. And one more thing, that, Councillor Yazinski brought up is entering into an agreement with Long Lake to allow them to do their own maintenance on the road. So don't dive too in depth into the agreement we currently hold with Mercer, because there's the start of the road, first, I think it's 2 miles of road is part of Mercer's LOC. So we entered into an agreement with them back in, it looks like 98. To essentially just make sure that we're doing our due diligence and not gonna destroy their road. So some of the things that are in there, just some rules of the road. The maintenance obligations, standards and expenses, insurance that'll have to be. On that, if our portion of the road. If we enter into this agreement with them. Which I'm sure they have insurance, but. So. This is something that we can. Somewhat mirror our agreement with Mercer.
Oh, so.
Those-
They would like go through you to cover that first. Like
No,
Merchants Road, or
No, they would have to go to
first?
Mercer to get
Right,
that,
that's-
and then I'm just talking for
Because we
For
don't,
your portion.
yeah, for our portion of the road, like we can't just give them a road use agreement because that's for haulers, that's not for maintaining a road. And because if they go and they start maintaining our road and all of a sudden there's no crown in it, all the gravel's in the ditch and et cetera, then we have to come and fix it, then that's an expense on the county. Where if we enter into this agreement, that would help us to make sure that they are going to maintain it to a standard and outline what that standard is.
We just want some information to see what the process is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, I know I
If
said,
they even go ahead, like,
Yeah,
at this point, they've already signed the
yeah, and that's,
agreement with the counties.
yeah, that's fine.
Caleb?
yeah, I just wonder, like, cause having me sit at the alternate and that, at the meetings, and it's come up so many times, like, is there just value in sending, like, maybe Gerhard and Charles to?
Thinking, I was just sorry that Charles should come and speak. to them. Or like, you don't have to
Yeah.
come, you can do it,
Yeah, like I don't know when or where these things are, so.
because it's like everything. When you move them,
No, and I have no issue with coming in and
explaining it to them.
explaining it and shedding some light on it.
Because the desire is the commission would take over operating the roads, right? To a Mercer's portion and the county portion, but we just have to have that clarified how that would look, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's right.
we kind of floated the idea here to Terry,
Terry Vance.
yeah, Terry Vance. That, well, you guys are the only ones at the end of this road, like. Instead of us having this agreement. We'll sell you the road for golf.
So,
And from what I heard from Terry, that was not well received, or I don't know, but,
oh, yeah.
So how does that look with the town abandoning it, and don't they pay for?
We're partnered.
yeah, they're a partner, and I don't know how that's not a me question.
No, I guess, because they pay for it, right? They help maintain it, pay for maintaining it, right?
All
The commission.
all the commission,
All the commission, yeah,
so it's like all the way, yeah.
no, I know you're not the.
Yeah.
commission.
Well, no, I just,
More people involved in.
So at the end of the day, then I think that there the savings to anybody, or do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, to us, it's more of a, thank you.
Less headache.
Yeah,
Well,
because
Well,
it's out of our way, that's the thing, like, we gotta send a grader up there to run all the way up the highway to go and grade this, and then run all the way back. So it's 2 hours of grading there and an extra hour each way, so every time we gotta go. So half a day is killed by having to go to Long Lake, and then
Wherever the grader came from, but I guess it would be the same scenario, right? So.
yeah, and we do coordinate it so that whenever they're done grading in a specific area, then they'll go deal with Long Lake, because it's closest that they get.
And
It's
then
still out of the way.
they'd have to take care of their mowing and everything that's.
Yeah, if we sold it,
Everything is so cheap.
yeah, then we're.
Just.
Okay, but if we didn't sell it,
If we didn't sell it,
or if we
then,
didn't buy it, then would you still do the mowing? Like,
well, that, the guy that answered that question left, but yeah, I would assume so. Cause that is, like, if I recall, that is in the agreement. I'm 99.9% sure.
I think it would be good, you know, if you could.
Okay.
Join a meeting sometime,
Yeah.
or, and,
So
and
when,
they can ask the question.
yeah, when is it?
The next one, I believe, is not until, well, it's in July,
Oh, okay,
third Monday of July.
and
I
what,
mean, I guess the whole point of this was to make it fair for all partners, right? That the county shouldn't be maintaining this road when it's used by all partners of the commission, right? So I think that if you can get that explain how that would work, then I don't think there's any opposition to this, other than You know, one partner there was always thinking that. Why should they be paying, but
No, there wasn't.
no. All right, so anything else, Charles?
No, that's everything I
Any
can think of.
questions? Okay, we got a motion to acknowledge receipt of the DPW report.
Okay,
Councillor Fleece, all in favor? Carried. Gravel crushing.
Yes. So bringing this forward to you guys, we tender closed for crushing of Sunny Valley and Gillis Pit. Low bid was Paragon Limited. He just did a little recommendation letter for you and a breakdown of how everything came in. One thing to note is that one of the submissions from Associated Aggregates was deemed non-compliant. They did not fill in the entire tender, so we pulled them out of the running. So there was 3 others, Paragon, Wapiti, and Brocore. And Paragon and Wapiti were very close to each other. So, all in all, it's gonna be within our budget to do it. With the addition of engineering of $61,560. We're well within our budget.
Well, there is.
This is very good news. This made me very happy to smash these two together and get a really good number out of it, so.
Perfect. Okay, so no other comments on that, just need a motion to award the contract.
Unless there's questions.
Council's happy with that, we'll get a motion to acknowledge receipt of the report and award it to Paragon. Councilor Reese, has made that motion. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you, council.
Council, we'll take a quick break, we're gonna go on camera at noon. Well, you know what? We're actually just about do everything we can get through the work reports. They're there for your review, with a motion to accept them unless there's any comments.
I'll move the one report.
Okay, Council Simpson. Accept some work reports of information, all in favor? Carried. Info package. There's a bunch of additions. We need comments. Need a motion to.
that's just one comment is that, you guys all saw the posters that was made by Trin and Teresa. Thank you again, Trin and Teresa, for that. So we're gonna advertise all of that. And then there's another one for the RMA District 4 meeting. So we are gonna scout out the best Western Plus in Peace River. Apparently they are all geared up with AV equipment and everything. And they can host up to 100 and I think it's 120 or 130 people in there. So I remember council made a motion that we do host the RMA District 4 zone meeting. Just an update on that.
So has, have you or Teresa been in contact with you?
Is
there a chair and also?
busy with a list of RSVPs and all those things.
I just did have one more, so part of the mental health task force feedback was that it was asked if the municipalities could share it on their website. Can we do that if that's okay with council's blessing? We just, the sign-in list, not everybody put their email and a lot of the emails were ineligible or illegible to read. So all the member municipalities were asked if they could put it on their website to help ban it up. So if we could do that as well.
Okay. All right, need a motion to accept the info package information.
I can move.
Councilor Sharp, all in favor? Carried. Open mic, yeah.
No questions.
Good. Decisions and delegations, I think we're gonna come back to that because we've only got 4 minutes. We've got a in-camera guy waiting in the wings there.
We have a quick wash break.
We can have a quick motion break and reconvene here, and if we're a few minutes late, that's. Is he on it or?
He is not, no. Should get, so.
Make that motion, Brent, come on, camera.
I did, yeah.
No, make it again.
I didn't have to record.
Oh,
yeah, I moved come on the camera.
All in favor? Carried.
Thanks, Brent.
You guys put the clock up there so that you can change the batteries easy.
So the ECC.
Oh.
Fires were heating up.
We received it up this morning.
Oh.
Commissioner Schwartzman, but. Yeah, we didn't finish well. Okay.
But all the results are in,
Yeah, they have all this, I think. They're supposed to. Yeah, hospitals, eggs and so on. Okay. They've got pictures and stuff.
What time is that normal?
So they got Cornwall champions, they got,
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be there something on track.
You never know, I've heard weird things. And where?
it was average Joe.
Oh, right.
Average Joe.
Okay.
Second time.
I'll probably be able to make it. We'll do it in person.
Is he day? Yeah. Yeah, so they do, they've got, not average Joe's. They can do second and third place.
And did, I think what Cowboy play?
I think that would, yeah. Till, I don't know, wee hours of the night time. And then the DJ after that, so. And then I went to bed, so I don't know anything else that happened. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You didn't see my son dancing?
I was right there beside him a couple times. I even had little Lucas up on my shoulders while the live band was still on there. It's fun.
All right, I've got a camera now, so we have 3 delegations to make decisions on or discuss. First one was from Pat Coulter. Asking for a referendum. So we got some advice. Pat's not here, I guess.
She just went to the washroom.
Oh, we'll just wait for her then.
Yeah, she just leave that.
Yeah. Let's jump over to the next one then. We're waiting for her. Item B was Peace Regional Outreach looking for a continuation of their funding, which Josh was that a 3-year term?
Yeah, they have been, I think, and you guys have been funding that since 2013.
Since
At
2013.
the same
At
level.
the same level, yeah. So that would be budgeted for then, or?
It has been as long as you're in a multi-year agreement, and then every time it comes to lapse, I just discontinue it in the future years until you make your decision. So.
So for this
Just like
budget year,
everything else.
we're good then?
Yeah, it was in there for this year. That was in my report.
So I think that we, I mean, depending what council decides, if we continue that funding, we should also put a recommendation to reach out to. Well, I guess you can do that on the side, that's not. Yeah. Because I think, well, some of that indigenous community funding would be valuable to them too.
Sure.
I'm not saying that would reduce our funding, but it would certainly help them
Yeah, this year was a lot of year and we've paid them already
for twenty
for this,
twenty-five.
for 2025.
Okay. So I guess,
They're
yeah,
coming early and prepared, asking for.
well, yeah, I mean, with election coming, I guess we probably don't wanna have that drag on to November, December, so what does council think? I mean, if it's a budgeted item, we've been doing it for 12 years now. What I see for the presentation, pretty valuable service.
Yeah, I'm all for continuing on with it.
Yes.
I think it's a very good service.
And I feel like we've consistently had residents in the program and taking part in things like that, so I
Yeah.
think they do great things
What
too.
the number was, but there was quite a few county residents, and a couple of them have even moved on to secondary education.
And I know I've attended their grad in the past and our kids win awards and do great things, and I think every kid deserves education, and if they struggle, it's nice that there's that option.
Still bothers me that they're download from the province, in my opinion, but
Yeah.
it's one of the,
Oh, the province for the school board.
yeah,
That was a lot.
well, yeah. So I guess if, sounds like there's a consensus that we continue our support, so somebody want to make that motion, I will. Oh, Gary, oh, I'm sorry, yeah,
Sorry, contribution continuing $10,000 for the next.
15.
Sorry, $15,000
For 2 years.
for 2 years.
Too many S's in here. They kind of went sleepy after lunch. I don't know.
Should be, so, AI,
Four of them now, 15,000.
26, 27, 28.
Six. Oh, seven.
Okay, all in favor?
Maybe sneak up and put a decimal in there just so it doesn't get left
Oh, yeah.
for interpretation. Thank you.
Okay, so our first delegation is back here now, so Pat, we had a discussion. Just because we had got a legal opinion on referendum. And maybe Gary, do you want to explain that, how that works?
I can do
Because
that.
you were the one talking to them.
I'll give you a brief update. So referendums is only called by to the province or to the feds. It is not something that's done in a municipality. A referendum is governed by the Referendum Act as well. Whereas a plebiscite is probably the means that you guys are looking at communicating with the residents. So a plebiscite, the difference between a plebiscite and a referendum is the referendum is also binding, whereas a plebiscite is not binding on councils. So they can still decide against it. So the plebiscite portion of it, there's two ways of actually enacting it. The one would be from council. So it would be a council-led thing. They would run a plebiscite wherever they want. The second option would be from a resident's point of view, is where they would do a petition. We need 10% of the population to agree with that. And then there's within 45 days, I think, after we got the results of the petition, that me as the CEO has to start the process of having that plebiscite or the question asked to be answered.
So I couldn't hear that, sorry,
Which part?
just the last part.
So I have 45 days after the petition has been made to actually declare or get council to declare the plebiscite then, if there's 10% from the residents.
So if the writs drop mid-September, then we have to have the plebiscite, we have to have the petition in your hands by the 1st of August.
Probably, yeah.
So remember, there's two ways of doing it. You don't have to have a petition, and the council can agree to have a plebiscite, which I don't think we're in disagreement with, but I think I want to have administration investigate more on regulations, requirements around the plebiscite, and we can bring it back. So I'm gonna make a motion that administration investigate the requirements to have a plebiscite on the question put forward by Pat, which was being a nuclear host community, so I'll just let Deb take that out. Make sure it's. I'm kind of trying to think out loud here, but just don't take that, because we're not giving residents a chance to have a say. We just want to make sure we're gonna be supporting it properly, so.
We just want clarification on what we can do, but you know,
No,
what we're allowed to do. But
What the municipality could do, residents or council, and then we'll, then we can.
So there's no legal means of actually holding a referendum on the municipal level then?
No. A plebiscite, plebiscite, which is not binding.
Investigate requirements, you gotta put in there, investigate the requirements to hold the plebiscite.
Okay.
I think the regulations on what's been worded.
Yes.
Hold plebiscite. INGO holding.
Get rid of them regarding.
Regarding nuclear proposal. Any discussion? Call for the vote, all in favor?
I'd like to, have a further, motion on this. I'd like council to commit in principle to, sampling public opinion. I just wanna, council to commit to, seeing how people feel on this issue, whether it's plebiscite or whatever. So is there an appetite on council to consult the public on this and give them a vote?
Is that kind of like what the town halls are gonna be though? Cause that's our opportunity to come get information, and then if we do a plebiscite, then that's their opportunity to get the information and speak on it, right?
What I'm asking for is a commitment in principle to conduct a plebiscite.
Oh.
Are we in agreement that we will do this?
I have no issue. My only issue is like, let's be very clear on what the rules are surrounding a plebiscite versus referendum, and now we know we weren't using the right term. So that's fine, so now we'll pivot and get the rules, but I don't have any problem.
Yeah, once we get it.
I think I just wanna know the rules
Yeah,
and what we
that's
need and what the thresholds are, and then go.
Yeah.
I have no
I
issue.
don't know if we need a motion for that, Brett, but I think.
Okay, we're good.
Consensus.
I think that.
I
Yeah,
think if,
yeah.
I was gonna say, in Terry's motion, it says investigate requirements to hold a plebiscite, so I think that's really.
And could we add and commit in principle to holding a plebiscite?
And so just to, further Pat's presentation. I mean, this proposed project, I'll emphasize the word proposed because it's got a long ways to go. It's before IAC. But just hang on a second. Before IAC and CNSC, they'll be the decision makers going forward. And council is open to all economic developments that will be proposed in municipality. Ones that have been here, and ones that are in the future, like we've got a pulp mill, we've got a sawmill, we've got pipelines. We've had lots of major projects, gas plants, compressor stations, and we've never had, I mean, I realize nuclear is probably a lot more polarizing industry, but we don't judge the proponents on these, right? So to say the proponent is never worked in their life or whatever, I mean, those are things that this council doesn't, we just look at the overall project, right? Whether it's a mill or a pipeline, and the regulators will decide that. So our role is not gonna be to decide where the project goes. So we have a question from the.
Yeah, my only concern is.
Could you introduce yourself, Tom?
My only concern is the timeline right now, like we've already established that if we have to go the petition route to get it in place, that it has to be done by the 1st of August, and that's only 7 weeks away right now. And if it's delayed for another 3 weeks before a determination is made, then we can't go forward and start collecting signatures.
But,
The first of August.
but I think council can say, we want to do a plebiscite, and then you don't have to do the petition part, right? Was I clear on that?
That's right.
So that's what I'm asking for here. Can we add this, that council is in agreement in principle to conducting a plebiscite?
100%. I don't think you guys have to go through the headache of doing petitions. I think we can agree.
So-
Let's have a plebiscite. Let's
So
just figure out the rules.
Can we add that to the motion that we commit in principle to holding a plebiscite on this issue?
I think we're sort of jumping ahead of, we should be checking this out before.
We're not saying we're committing in principle to giving people a say on this issue. That's all. People want to be consulted and not go through the whole process of doing a petition and all the rest of it. So if we can, there's some agreement on this here today, council, that people should get say in this.
Well, of course. Whatever.
I mean, that's not saying, my motion doesn't say we're not gonna have one, I'm just saying that we wanna investigate the requirements and bring it back, and then we'll make a decision based on the information we get.
So I'll introduce a separate motion then. And that council commit in principle to having a plebiscite on the nuclear issue and allow administration to work out things details.
So how do you define committed in principle?
Well, we've just heard that there's no opposition to the idea of it, right?
I would change that to agree.
Yeah, to agree.
Agreeing principle to a plebiscite, right?
On nuclear power issue. Yeah.
On the, please call it the proposed nuclear power project. Hang on a second. Oh, I was talking about what you do.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a question or?
Just a short comment. I gave you a copy of that book so that you could understand how much effort, time, and money went into the 3-year period the last time a project came through. And we can avoid all of that and all the recriminations in the county on this project if it comes, people being able to vote on it to make a decision on it.
Yeah, thank you.
And it just gets rid of a lot of the animosity. Thanks very much for all reasons.
All right, any more discussion on the motion before us? All in favor? Opposed? Yeah, that's carried.
Thank you, council.
Okay, our third delegation was Lac Tribal Economic Development Board. So did she give you the information about what Berlin and Grimshaw? Yeah. I didn't have a chance, but just kind of give us a ball.
Thank you.
I don't know which we're gonna. So fees per capita, it works out for the village of Berwyn of 7,290.
Well, that's your total bill.
Yes, so like the total more.
You know, so I'm assuming the per capita is the same for everybody, it's just populations are different, right?
And then down at Grimshaw's 55. I don't know how many people are in Grimshaw.
Couple thousand?
3,500.
So that's very close
Yeah,
to ours
about
then.
3,500.
In Grimshaw?
Yeah,
Oh,
a
really?
little over 3,000.
So that would be very similar to our number there.
Mhm.
Because MDFP's I think is a little bit less, they are 32,000. It's not really the capital.
32,000,
Prices.
32,000, 32,000?
For who?
And there's actually multiple copies here. But it doesn't state the for capital.
Maybe we knew the populations would divide that out, we figured out, but we don't, so.
There is a way.
Google it.
The census?
I've got a question for council. Is this not a more focused, area-driven economic development instead of growing the north one, which in my opinion, the ones I attended it was a little bit more Grand Prairie and area.
And so I mean, we're a member of PREDA, right, which goes all the way down to. I don't know, Grand Prairie's a member, but Sexsmith is, I think, and Senate Hills, Spirit River.
Review.
So it's a real broad region.
Yeah.
And I think we're the furthest north.
And opportunity and.
And not discrediting that work that they do, but I think that Black Cardinal would be really more locally focused.
Yeah.
And, you know, since we got rid of our economic development officer, which has been a number of years now, since Elder left and took it out of our budget. So that was good. I mean, we kind of tasked Josh and Trinity with doing a lot of that type of work now, which she's had. Not that they're doing a bad job, but it just kind of overloads there.
We'd love to give that up. That's a lot.
What? Well. What did you say?
I'm not-
That's a
I'm
lot.
not-
That's a lot.
Even-
It's a lot for you.
They're busy with taxes and finances and everything in between, and so to try and do an economic development officer job is not really fair to you.
So I would just maybe say that before you jump to spending 55 grand on something, you have an idea of what it is you want from it. Because right now, so like, what is economic development to you guys at the county? What do you think Trinity and I are doing? Like, we heard her pitch a business directory. We have that. We've done that forever, right? We host a couple events. We've done that for the last 14 and 15 years. We have a business newsletter that we communicate to people. We have different sorts of things. I get like the same kind of thing that she said she's getting with these weekly emails. Those come to me in the, what has it been, 7 years since Eleanor's left? There's been 2 that are actually actionable. Most of them you can click down and see the amount of land requirement, power requirement, and water requirement of shovel ready land, and you can just skip past it because we do not have that. Right? Or people, we need, this manufacturing facility needs 3,000 people. We don't have that, and I can't fix that for you, right? So, we're in very preliminary conversations right now between the town and I of the potential, and it's very, very preliminary, so I don't even have time to tell you guys about this, but like an optometrist looking at maybe it's up here for a couple day a week. Those kinds of things happen. And is it too much? Depends when it happens. Overall, no, right? Because I'm not actively doing anything. I'm just responding to calls that come in. Trin could say otherwise, right? She's looking after the website thing, the business registration thing, all of which is voluntary though. Right? So we don't require it. So it's just, we're here to help our businesses and our people if they want it. Right? If you were gonna require it and make it mandatory, then it would be a little busier, but it's not.
Do you reach out to new businesses when they're established?
Me personally,
hear about
no.
Like, or.
Yeah. Trend maybe, I don't know, most of them, like technically, they should be reaching out to us if they need a development permit, right? Some do, some don't, if they do, they're communicate this to them. So you guys just saw the year rental go through the whole development permit process. I signed their business license yesterday, yesterday. But we call it a business license, which is a terrible name because it's voluntary, so it's not a license. Right?
Unfortunately, some.
And then other than that, like we'll use our advertising channels to maybe spotlights or to advertise things that people want, but Trin and I don't make things up to do without your guys' blessing, right? Or without your direction. It's just we're working with what we're given, so that's not gonna change if her or I do it, or if the Black Cardinal or Economic Development Board does it for you. They're not gonna do things without direction from council, so. Not trying to lead you any direction, just
So, thanks for slapping us in the face with reality.
do it.
So I did some math here, based on the same formula as the town of Grimshaw, our bill for this would be 75,000. Just over.
I don't get a flat rate per capita with the population, so it must be tiered. So I got a different.
Well, let's divide the population by, Grimshaw's population according to, Wikipedia or whatever, it's 2,600, so you're $21 a head.
Yeah.
So based on our population, it would be more under, 75,600. And I agree that all the same issues apply as when we had our economic development officer, and that time we concluded that we could not really justify continuing on another position to that sort, because we had no way of gauging how well it was working. So we discontinued it all, and all that is still in place. Well, I guess I would be hesitant to spend this money on any of those results.
I think it would probably be okay for, like she said, for one of you to go to a meeting, right, and see what it's about, but yeah, as far as. Like, I wouldn't be looking for you guys to make a decision on this today with what you were given.
That was my feeling too. Do you go and have the conversation and hear it out and
Dig
see
into
what it is?
Dig deeper.
Mhm.
I mean, and I'm just, again, thinking out loud like I always do, but I mean, so. Working in the Manning area kind of is more of, I just think a lot of our population and businesses in the south end of the municipality, would these guys be of any? I mean, not saying you ignore them in the south, like the Weatherville Industrial Park or businesses out of Grimshaw that, their residents use. Would this be a better fit to encompass?
Well, and I always wonder, like, cause I know like Bob and I talked about it kind of off the cuff before, Sandra and I have talked about it off the cuff before, and like, would they consider only doing per capita for our southern wards that actually would be impacted? Like, would they consider a partial boundary, so that only the wards 1, 2, and 3, or whatever that would be more impacted, would they do just per capita for those wards instead of all the way north?
Yeah. And what did they say?
They said it was a conversation that we'd have to have, right? So I'm thinking like, do we send somebody and we pitch that? Like, would they be willing to do?
In practice, that gets muddy for you guys too, though, and you can even see that in our, think about the small business awards that we do, and then we also go to Peace River. It's confusing for businesses to know what to go to.
Well, and I mean, I just got like a couple of phone calls now, and I included in my ward reports, I'm sure everybody saw it, but like it's difficult for businesses to find help, and so. That's a couple times now that I've heard it, right? So, community ventures, they're kind of like, oh, they just want to focus in their zone, which is great, like that's where they're funded, so great. But I don't know, I really believe that it would be worth value, and if they don't want to split it, then great. Look at it, but I think we need to go and investigate it a bit.
Okay, is that your motion?
That would be my motion. I mean, we just approved a yurt business and they're struggling to make connections, and I sent them this way, but.
I would send them to my tours.
Yeah.
Move up,
Yeah.
right? Move up asks us frequently for ideas for content,
Yeah.
Mining Peace Tourism would be good for them, but.
Say just, I just think you. Give more information, however we want to work it out.
Mhm.
You have contact.
That might include attending the meeting, but
Or you can email me and I'll get it.
Or do we wanna say, to attend the July 7th meeting and gain more information and report back? How about we just do that?
Okay, who's attending?
I'm fine to attend unless anybody else wants to.
when it's July.
July 7th.
I'm actually gone.
Well,
It'll be-
I'm fine if somebody else wants to go, I just feel
I'll
like.
make the motion, so you're not Councillor Shirk's not.
Yeah.
Councillor Shirk.
Yeah, good idea. Thanks, Brent.
Well, I mean, if more can attend, I think the more years.
Yeah,
I would go, but I'm not here, but.
I'll see if I'm not busy, I'll come along with you, just to. So we can,
well, I mean, you've had conversations with Bob too,
well,
right?
it's sort of like you off the cuff, right? Just, hey, you guys are thought about joining us. It sounded like a good idea, but now maybe it's not, it wasn't such a big price tag.
Well, and maybe it would be different if they were willing to only include southern wards, right?
Sorry, guys, I'll fix it later.
Anything more, the batting on
Watching. That's what it is. And those two.
Well, don't blame us. We're cheering on. Don't dead. Don't dead.
So Gary, we'll go with this one. Larry?
So Terry, you wanna reach out to Bob and just see if we can attend the next meeting, or?
Sure. I'm sure they'd be glad to have us there.
I'm sure, and then you can just shoot me a message and let me know,
Yep.
cause I don't know what time, I just wrote that they meet on the 7th.
Okay, all in favor? It's Gary, you'll get, also, do you need that swag, Gary, for the students?
She said the 16th, so.
So I get it today.
Get it.
How many was it?
4 to 6.
So that's fine.
We draw a hard line.
I'm just reporting what I got set.
And since we didn't have that agenda and there's a deadline for that application for the conference, 16th as well, we said,
I think so.
we'll, can we make a motion that we'll do that then, that we'll give, council give support for, to hold the RPAP provincial conference, and that would be in 2026, right? Just want to let our support for now, like they're not looking for anything financially, that's, again, that's gonna be after the election, when they start getting serious about it, so you'll make that motion, Gary?
Yep.
To give a letter of support to, is it, who's it playing actually, is it Peace River or Northern Sunrise, or?
Peace River, I think.
Well, just whatever, what do you guys call your committee? Peace River Attraction and Attention, or
Yeah.
whatever that is, that's where we give a letter of support to. Peace River Attraction and Attention Committee. To host the 2026.
Right, attraction.
Yep.
Action.
And retention.
So before you leave, Gary, train us.
Good.
That's it.
To host. 2026. Capital R, small h. Small h and then capital HAP, or PA, no, PAP.
It takes a village to write these motions.
Conference, provincial conference. I don't know if that's be provincial, but then there is one right up, right, so. Where is it?
You missed this job?
Sometimes.
Okay, all in favor? That's carried. Adjourned.